How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my series with my lovely boyfriend,
Hello.
where I show him Marvel Rivals character designs and the skins and have him analyze them from an artistic perspective. Now, he is an art teacher, he's a comic artist, he's got a lot of experience and a lot of insight, and I've learned a lot since we started this series a few months back. And today we are doing one I'm excited to show him because I think he's really going to like it. Magik, the mutant queen of limbo.
Nice.
And she's got two forms. I'll show you the second form in a minute. I think you're really going to like it. Here is her base design.
Nice. Kind of a punk Valkyrie kind of thing going on with, especially with the ear pieces up on the top of her head. Man, I was trying to think of what I actually even know about this character because I don't know if she's featured quite as frequently as some of the other X-Men in different properties, but I don't read a lot of the comic works, but I have kept up with a lot of the animated works, which do have some of the expanded cast in it. But I really don't know much about what her character does.
She's Colossus's sister, and her power. I don't know what her powers are in the comics. Her power in Marvel Rivals is turn into demon.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll get to the demon form in a minute, but
all right, that's all I needed to know. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do like to know at least some context. So I kind of think like, okay, what does the design say? Mm-hmm. And like, obviously, we got a lot of strength, which is really fun how they pulled this off with her. Because in a lot of, like, especially warrior type classes, they're going to bulk up the muscles and everything. But they haven't really done a lot of that with her. Like, she has wider hips compared to like a thinner character, but everything else is pretty slender, which is more of like you do for speed or dexterous characters. So to get the kind of like strength vibe across, they're like, big sword.
Small woman, big weapon is peak character design, and I shall brook no argument.
And there's like that contrast there, right? Because that sword is like bigger than she is nearly, and so if she can pick up that thing and wield it like it's nothing, then that already tells you that she's got a lot of strength, physical strength. Because here's big physical object, and she's moving it. No other details needed, right? There's a bit of asymmetry for this because they have obviously this really fun, eye-catching pauldron on one side, which is really pretty fun. I like the silhouette that creates. It's like really sharp, danger. She's here to be boss. And they repeat that kind of motif on the gauntlet too, with the spikes. So they're repeating shape language a bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's that kind of modern touch too, with like these fabric elements with lots of rips and holes in them.
Oh yeah, the tights.
Yeah, the tights, and also there's like a undershirt kind of thing that's all ripped too.
Oh yeah, I guess that is ripped, isn't it?
I know it's hard to find it with all that skin showing, but and they're building some shapes too, because like they could have just done like the bikini armor thing, but they are building these bigger shapes so it doesn't come across that way, even though like structurally it's kind of built that way. Because she has this big collar on her neck, along with the black of the pauldron and those fabric elements. There's a little bit of skin on the top and like this side the armpit's open, but I think the other side has fabric.
Yep.
So we're filling up some holes in the outfit to contrast with the bigger shape on the other side. Her other arm, does it have a pauldron on it at all? Or like not the pauldron, but the arm piece? She just kind of has some elbow pieces there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think is, again, like that kind of... They're doing asymmetry, so she's already holding the sword in that hand, so we have, again, like, big object on one side, then we're going to contrast with another big object on the other side. And that's kind of how you balance asymmetry without kind of making everything pull to the left or the right too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, part of the point of asymmetry is to be, like, lopsided, but you don't want it too much, or your viewer is just kind of pulled to one direction, maybe unintentionally. I really like the kind of bright yellow orange on this outfit too. It's kind of this nice accent color.
Very evocative of the fires below.
Well, I was also just kind of looking at where it was used because like there's kind of like this. If you kind of fill in the holes, there's kind of like this big arrow that points upward from her chest. There's like a just one big piece. Like there's not a bunch of little pieces. There's like a big yellow piece on the belt, and then there's like a little pieces of inside the armor piece on her shoulder. I think there's a little bit of it in the jewelry too, but it just creates these like like it's basically a giant arrow without actually using the clothing to make it because she has like a cutoff. So they just have this giant like forward up arrow, look to face, get up here, eventually. Let's do a zoom out real quick just to, cause I always like to include the boots as far as the whole full design. Those are pretty fun too. Just like the texture treatment and lines and spikies on it. I still see a lot of that like big object, medium object, small object. So you have like boots. And then, like, I think to me the shorts feel like the smallest object because when you add the pauldron and the arm piece and everything up on the top, that feels like their medium piece. And she's just cut such a great silhouette too. Like, if you just like knocked out the outline, you would pretty much pick out this character to line up.
Even just the head, it's like, yep, that's Magik.
What's the back of the whole fit look like? Oh, nice to have a little X on the back of the belt, too.
Yeah.
Kind of keep the X-Men kind of nod to there. So I think the front belt's a little bit different. I think there's a vague X shape in it. But it's kind of cut up.
It's a more subtle X shape, yeah.
There's a lot of use of just kind of arrows and triangles and turn it to her whole outfit. Which is actually a really great way to harmonize a lot of pieces together. It's like, okay, we're going to limit ourselves to like one or two shape languages, so there's not really a lot of circles or really in her outfit at all.
I think the only circle is her belt buckle and her boobs, but
and there's like maybe some squares, but it's mostly triangle. I really like the sword too, because that's where I was looking at the triangles too, is that hilt to the sword is like a double triangle. It was like doubled over. Really fun. This is a very limited color palette too. We just have, kind of grays. I'm trying to decide if they're going warm or not, but it feels like might be a just slightly cold gray, especially in the light gray portions. You can see it's kind of bluish or greenish.
It's coupled with the lit from within magma lights on her armor and belt. It's very cooled magma gray.
Yeah, and I think like they're also bringing a little bit of warmth in some places. They're not doing it in the whole gray color, but if you look at the way they do kind of that painterly shading, like especially underneath, there's like this like brown color on all the grays. I don't know if you can see it, but like,
yeah, I can see it.
Like the base is cool gray, and then they're like mixing that brown in, so they're harmonizing the cold. Because I feel like if they, yeah, like there, it's like if it was kind of underneath. But like what I was trying to say there is that that you have a cold gray, which would be fine on its own, but you can harmonize it with all the warm colors just by bringing in some of that hue shifts. So like you can hue shift something a little bit brighter, like those rim lights and the neon, or not neon, but it's like a teal. And then you can like hue shift to warm, you can hue shift to light, hue shift to dark. You don't want to go like absolutely all over the place with it, but with purpose, you get a lot of variety. Really subtle variety that makes these look really great.
There's something I've noticed when I listen to artists talk about the color palette of an outfit, is that the base skin tone never factors into their description of it. They'll talk about the warm or cold colors, they'll talk about the various colors of the outfit, they'll include the hair, but they'll never mention the skin tone when talking about the color scheme of an outfit. And that makes me wonder if there's something psychologically with us that that causes us to just take skin tone as default background noise when looking at an outfit, is such that it's not even worth mentioning when people talk about this. Would you say that's correct?
I don't know, because I don't know if I've gone through a lot of character design critiques with other artists. because I live in the middle of nowhere.
Fair.
No, that makes it, versus like someone who probably works in industry, they get a lot more exposure. I think there could be two reasons it gets maybe overlooked, because I've mentioned it a few times in some outfits. Like I was like, this one's mostly browns and yellows and things, so that peach skin tone is just coming in as another brown or yellow, because it's just that but a little bit more red, so it's not clashing with anything. But I think we do have a problem if we have way more over representation of lighter skin tones, and it's to the point where like some artists who do not sit down and learn like color theory that well, or just like variety in their designs, they do not know how to outfit a character that does not have that skin tone, because they have not sat down and like actually go okay, what is a skin tone? Because there's actually different shades too, even amongst different tones, because you can have a light tone with either a warm undertone, which means like they have a lot of usually red or yellow undertones over as a general characteristic of their skin, or they might have cool undertones, whereas then they don't show a lot of warmth in their overall skin tone. So that's how you get the difference between someone who looks like really rosy versus someone who looks like pale and moonlight. And it goes the same with other skin tones as well. When you have a lot of melanin in your skin, you can have olive undertones, which is kind of like yellow. You can have red undertones, gives you more rich brown colors. You could even have the cool undertones, which is going to give like this kind of cool brown undertone. And that also works for skin tones that are in between as well, where you have people who are going to have, darker skin, lighter skin, different undertones. So there's actually a huge amount of variety that you could do for character design, which is a little unfortunate that we have a lot of, especially properties like Marvel, where Marvel's properties go back to like 60s, 70s or so, maybe farther back.
30s.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if they started with DC, but yeah, I know DC's 30, so Marvel, we'll just say 30s-ish, your comics history.
I think Namor showed up as the first modern superhero in 1931 or 39. It was sometime in the 30s.
But in any case, when you have like those older properties, they are carrying that baggage of the underrepresentation of other skin tones, and it is really hard to get people to tie into like new superheroes. So that means their roster is already stacked in one direction already. And then, like when you change stuff, people get really uppity. Because I remember when like Miles Morales first came out, people were like, what the hell are you doing? You're messing with Spider-Man. And now people love him, right? But there's still so much work to do on that front, which was a bit of an aside for this character. But that's probably maybe why it doesn't come up as much. Either it's overlooked, or it's either one or the other. They either overlook it because they haven't expanded their knowledge, or they stop thinking about it because skin tone, and it can be manipulated in so many ways to match your color palette. They just forget to mention it. But that, like that's a whole other thing. But there's also like some other ones we've seen with different characters where they have like lots of blues and stuff, but they have like a pink skin tone, like this character already has. And then that's contrast. But with skin tone, you can go with harmony or contrast, because we're used to wearing outfits, and especially now in modern times, we have so many colorful outfits that we can choose from. So I think the lack of harmony in skin tone is less jarring to us because it represents reality, versus like an outfit with color contrast that doesn't work, like a pink tie, for example, is really jarring, because we're like, hey, that's real life, you can fix that. You could wear nice clothes. And there is a thing too in fashion too, where like I love yellow and green and stuff, but it's not necessarily looking that great on light skin tones, because it reflects all the yellow light onto their light skin, and we go like kind of sickly and jaundiced. Whereas on like darker skin tones, absolutely gorgeous. Cause
oh my god!
Like the darker skin tone just brings out the bright color so beautifully. Which
neon pink and green and stuff on very dark brown skin looks awesome.
Yeah, and like it's just a thing like with, like I said, like on certain lighter skin tones, that color will just like make us look a little sickly, and on other people it'll be very beautiful. And it's like the same thing with the way clothing fits too. Like you have a piece of clothing that fits one body really well, looks not very good on another one because it's not fitted in a really well way. And that was a long tangent, but I felt it was kind of important on like why that might be happening, is that we just got to go through a lot of baggage and get smarter and work harder.
Fair enough.
But yeah, but I was going to come back to her color scheme. So I was really curious that they put a magenta gem on this this weapon of hers. Because it's not...
It appears nowhere else in her costume.
Yeah, and it's like a little unusual. And they are doing that kind of teal magenta pop in, pop out highlights on her hair like they've done on other designs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like her whole outfit is pretty much primarily like brown, yellow, orange, which is an analogous color scheme on a color wheel. They're pretty much close to each other. Brown's just desaturated yellow or red, depending on the type of brown you go with.
Mm-hmm.
So like simple color schemes is like one of those ones you really are really pretty much straightforward, and they always look pleasant and they're really hard to mess up. But you know, she has kind of like a medium bright hair, very bright highlights for the yellow fire glow. Her skin is a lighter tone, so it's kind of like, but it's more red. That's where you get more red, but it's not out of the color palette because we already have orange. I do like the little accents and details. Some of it's maybe a little bit over detailed, because I'm not sure about the buttons on the shorts. Because the style of them feel a little old school, but the shorts and everything else in the outfit says punk. And so I'm like, is this kind of like a steampunk thing? Because that just reminds me of like the way some older trousers and things used to have multiple buttons, and they'd have like that kind of style where it's more of a tassel into a button rather than a button through a buttonhole.
Those are some very ornamental belts on the side of her pants too.
Yeah. And you know, it could have been like the way how men's ties work, like it points to the goods. That's men's fashion. It's supposed to like come right to the belt and point right there. It shouldn't be longer and it shouldn't be shorter. Don't ask me how I know this. Oh, look at the blue highlight on the sword though, right at this angle. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the lighting, rim lighting on this engine. It's really cool. I really would love to see more games with this kind of style. But yeah, the only thing else I can really think of note as far as design-wise is there is some repeating elements of line. Like in her torso armor thing, there's kind of like those repeating V shapes across the front. And then there's kind of like a diamond shape too. And then when they make these repetitions, there's like a little arrow that goes right in between on the bottom. That's like got another chevron double line there. And a little bit of variety in like the lines as well, because that bottom chevron where it's like that one big piece with one line intersecting it, that kind of makes her like little boob cup thing. That one is like, if you think of the shape itself as a line, like a really, really thick line, it's like two thick gray lines. But then we have this double V shape that goes up to her collarbones, and that's kind of like more of a curved line. So it has a little bit more flow, it's less rigid. So we're getting these overlaps and contrasts of like line and thickness of that line. I do find it interesting too, like they did like this big kind of wing shape with a little kind of yellow accent on it. Because I think what's cool about doing it that way versus like one big armor cup is that it keeps the motif of them being repeating lines. Because I think if they had done it as like this is a big armor piece, it would lose that kind of like repeating element of the lines. I was also looking at like the underside of her gauntlet. Yeah, it is the gauntlet. If we can get the right angle, you can see it's like fabric and it has like repeating lines for the ribbing on that fabric.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's kind of some similar treatment on the boots and things too, where there's kind of like some repeating lines there. Which is so cool that they are using lines in that way, because they're very low contrast, they're subtle. So they're building this kind of big shape first, and then to create some interest and variety, so that's not just like big blob of big blob next to big blob. They're doing, okay, lines, repetition, 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 which creates patterns, and our brains are really keyed into patterns. So, you know, we'll look at the overall design and be like, cool, you know, strong lady. But then on the back of our heads, we're going, oh, cool, pattern, 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 pleasant, awesome, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Same with like all the little spikies. Like she's got spikies on the back of the boot, she's got spikies on the front, spikies on the gauntlet, spikies on the pauldron. This is kind of a fun repeating design motif.
I love the pauldron. It's such a cool piece to add to this outfit.
And that's one too where I think everything else has been pretty condensed and like it's like not. There's a thing with design where, like if you can make one really complicated shape, but if you do everything as complicated as that pauldron, it'll be like hard to look at because there's just too much variety.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they are keeping everything else as like a subtle harmonizing variety. And then they have like their big interest piece, which just creates a really fun silhouette. And that's a good thing to do because if you don't have that contrast of like easy to digest versus hard to digest visually, then the hard to digest visually part is not going to be as interesting because right now it's like, oh, cool. It's like, you know, like a really cool puzzle on the whole design piece. But if it was the whole puzzle, like everywhere you look, then you would get tired. And it would have no contrast, so it would no longer be unique or interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do know she does have some little like designs on the boots that have the same type of buttons. So maybe they're trying to get a little bit of vintage back in, just to keep the Valkyrie look. So she's kind of like a mix mash of like 70% modern and like 30% medieval. But it's a really fun design. This is really cool.
All right, you know what else is really cool?
Her alt. Jeez.
Yeah, her alt turns her into this.
She became Gremlin. And she gets a different sword even. Dang. So I want to see like kind of because what they do with the color palette here, because they have a lot of like reddish orange and then like a really subtle lavender. She's just going to keep doing that forever.
Yeah. So I've zoomed in for now.
For now. But yeah, it's just like, because red orange is pretty close to violet on a color wheel. Because after you go to red orange, you have to go kind of closer to the violet because you're going to get red violet and so on. I'm trying to think of where this violet stands. It is warm in some places. I don't think any of it is really close to red violet except for on the tail maybe. But there's a really subtle play of like controlling the saturation of these colors. Because a lot of them are dulled down really a lot. Because if they hadn't, she would look like a kaleidoscope nightmare. Because like the face, really light, dull contrast. Like, or dull saturation, not contrast. It's a dull saturation. It's not a bright color. It's light in value. Then the horns are like bright color. There is some dark in value, but the dark values are still bright in color. Like that's a saturated dark red. And then by the time they get away from the color, because they have kind of a neutral white hair, it's a little bit on like the cooler white spectrum. But when they get, you know, farther away from all the color, then they dull down the tips of the horns, it looks like, to more of a gray. I think her armor might have been, her armor's an interesting shade of gray. It's almost greenish.
Yeah.
It's really warm compared to all the reds. And that's probably a contrasted that if you put a cool color next to like warm colors, it can change your perspective of how that color works. Yeah, I'd love to color pick that and see what it actually is at. It is... I'm trying to decide where it's kind of at, because it's almost like pewtery green. I'm thinking if I had to mix that out of paints, would I add yellow? Would I add... I don't know if it has any red in it. I don't think so. Not very much anyway.
I don't think it does, no.
I think it's a very yellow, green. Which is, you know, when I think of color wheels, so I've been doing these at work for a while where I did the whole color wheel and color it. I think of how the mix of primaries happen. So if we're looking at this as a mix of our primaries of red, yellow, blue. So they're like, all right, we're going to commit to the purple skin. Purple is made of red and blue. So they're like, okay, what colors our armor going to be? Okay, it's this pewter color. Pewter is a mix of blue and yellow to make green. So the blue is going to harmonize that color next to the purple. And the purple is already sharing with red, so her other accent color is red-orange, which is a mix of red, mostly, and a little bit of yellow. So they're really pulling all the primaries and just balancing them so well. This is a really nice color palette. And then they're using like armor and red bits and yellow bits as accent color to build lines around her body too. So now instead of like big like gauntlet on the side being this big eye-catching piece, it's now big yellow gauntlet as this eye-catching piece. And then using some reds to kind of push back, because yellow is lighter in value, it's going to pop forward. Red is lower in value just inherently. So, you know, where they need to push back, no, the brightness stays the same, but they're pushing back using the value, light and dark. That's a nice angle to show that. When she stops moving, just like, you know, it's kind of like yellow. It's really a yellow-orange. And then all the way down to red.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Trying to think of like anything else to like really pick out on here, because it's just so nicely colored. Let's see if we can get a larger view for a little bit and try to get around her animations, because she has some cool, really long legs too. And I really like the zigzag on these armor pieces on the knees.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. And like that had to been like, okay, we're gonna make a demon version of her. How do we make her even more spiky and more dangerous looking than we did in the punk outfit we gave for the non-demon version? And I guess that's how, is more zigzags, because the more erratic and angled your lines are, just the more erratic and angled your design's going to look at. And for some reason, our brains are just geared to like things that are spiky and pointed are danger. Because, you know, that's why like every like kids movie protagonist is like the roundest little muffin ever, and every villain is like the pointiest ever. It's just that design language. And then, you know, big protector people, you know, who are hard to move and are usually square. And you can mix and match those three design ideas together quite a lot, but that it generally comes around to that as an overall motif. When she's done with her animation, can we turn her sideways to see the sword? Dang, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
More zigzag spikies. And this is like another great use of pattern. The sword does share a some motif with the one on her base version, because it still has the same silhouette shape of that, at least in the hilt portion. Because on the other one, it's kind of like two triangles. And this one still keeps that idea, even though it's a little bit different.
I like how she's got a little sword in her sword.
Yeah, she kind of does. Oh my gosh, though. I really like the little details, too. Like this kind of weird centipede bracelet looking thing she's got. And then we got a kind of a similar repetition of like anklets on her bottom portion of her legs. Which is kind of a fun idea, too. Like you clearly want to do these demon goat legs, but if you pile it full of armor, it might get a little cumbersome. So they just keep it a little sparse.
I also like that she's got a clubbed tail with spikes on it. Like that's a design touch that I hadn't noticed until we started looking at her.
Yeah, and that's really fun too. I also think what I'm really impressed with is that if you're designing this kind of demon character, they could have so easily accidentally fled into a World of Warcraft realm, you know?
Yeah.
Because there have been so many designs of like basic, you know, imp-shaped demon that they could have very accidentally gone into something that doesn't feel like it belongs in this game. But this feels like a Marvel-designed demon to me, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just something about the color palette feels like very comic bookish. The way that she's like posed and designed. And I do really love that they're continuing a lot of motifs from her base outfit, like the pauldron and stuff. They're just giving her bigger silhouette. Let's have a zoom in again. Because I was curious what they did with her armor here, because it feels like she has chains like hanging off the lower section of her armor. But there really isn't. It's really just that front piece on her belt. Do you see how it's got like kind of the X shape like her original belt had?
Yep.
But now
and a spike pointing towards the goods.
And a spike pointing towards the goods. You're gonna have to earn it this time. But in this case, it's kind of like a metal loincloth piece of metal. But I think what's cool about it is like it feels with all the like the metal pieces like a chain or something, like you'd kind of expect a demon to have. At least a, you know, hellish demon, you know, like the chains of your sins. They also had to give her another pauldron, I think, to give her some balance, but they just made it have little dinky spikes. That's okay, it's because she's holding a massive giant sword, even bigger than the last sword.
Well, she does have a second pauldron in her base design that looks a lot like that.
Yeah,
it's just very small.
Yeah, it's very small. And this one's just like, it's a little more proportional, I guess.
Yeah.
There's also like a repeating element of a center line from her forehead to her throat to the kind of middle spiky in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably count the diamond, the arrow shape in the middle, but it's a little bit bigger. So I kind of just see that as a connected line or a thorough line. Whereas
it's an eyes top side symbol.
Well, it's kind of like when you draw a dotted line, it's not really a line because it has spaces in it, but our eyes just complete what the missing portions are the missing portions that we see. Mm-hmm. Same for the pauldron. Like there's a line that goes through it and then the line on the collarbone piece. Those aren't connected, but our eyes make them connected. And then, that's just, for some reason, our brains are just geared for that of like, we find patterns, we connect lines, probably because our brains really do a lot for vision for us. So we're just really keyed into trying to pick out patterns and things. And an artist's job is to figure out that, kind of brain thing and break other people's brains into believing that, there's a hot demon with a giant sword here that they can fight with in a video game. When it's all just kind of like fun make-believe, but it's awesome and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
There's also kind of a nice surface treatment on her horns too. There's a bit of a yellow shine to it. That's a little bit different than a matte coloring. Like it changes on the angle. And this is kind of fun, like, her skin tone is so fun though, because they're doing like really light pale in the middle, and it's a little bit more saturated, a little darker on like the hands and the thighs, and then the tail they're just going entirely ruddy red. Like they probably could have left it purple, but it's just really delightful and it ties in with all the other red colors in her outfit. Maybe it was kind of a good choice because they probably really wanted to commit to this giant red sword. And if she didn't have as much red in her design, it probably wouldn't have matched as well.
Mm.
But since she has like kind of red on the tail, and then like if we turn to the front, which honestly the back's very yellow, but the front we have like the red horns, the red kind of armor, skin kind of that goes around her jaw, and the ears, and the other red center. Which the red portions of her accent color are only on the front too. And so the enemies can see her coming. Bright red. Red. Yeah, that's what the other players are going to see. Yeah, so if you see yellow, you're good. If you see red, danger. She's coming your way.
When you hear her scream, "Behold, dark child," you just turn and run.
Yeah, it's just like, this is just a really great control of light and dark a little bit, but a lot more control of bright and dull. They're using both, but the bright and dull control is really good. But yeah, I feel like I don't know if I can say much more about it. It's just great stuff. Lots of repetition of elements. And especially in the armor pieces.
Well, yeah, they did a good job with her.
I know, it's just like, man, I could just keep picking it apart, but I'm like, I just keep repeating myself, but it's all great.
All right, let's look at a recolor then. Well, one of two recolors.
Okay. Oh, cool. Blue, kind of like spacey.
Purple.
What would you say?
Purple.
Purple?
Very purple.
Well, I said blue, but, I guess it's a lot of leaning up towards purple as well. It just says amethyst armor, which is kind of interesting because this didn't say amethyst when I looked at it. I see a lot of silver, too. If I was doing amethyst, because like the actual stone is a quartz, it can be clear all the way to like really, really dark purple. I think I would have went with like a more kind of a contrast of purple and like sort of red violet rather than this kind of pink magenta color they went with. But it's not bad either.
I think it's a failing of the skin that the purple doesn't pop as much as the molten yellow. Or sorry, the pink doesn't pop as much as the molten yellow.
Hmm. Yeah, like, I think if it was said it was like an ice outfit or something, I think I'd been like, oh yeah, cool. But it says amethyst, and I'm like, those spikes are clearly blue.
Yeah.
Like, and I think an amethyst outfit actually sounds kind of awesome. Kind of wish they had met the theme. Also, the pink on the edge of the sword is like really distracting to me because it's so different from the rest of the outfit.
Yeah.
Like, she technically has pink in the outfit, but because of the size, like, the little tiny squares cannot be as bright as the end of her whole sword there.
Yeah.
Which, wasn't the yellow sword just all yellow? There wasn't that transition change? I want to say it was just, like, maybe a lighter shade of yellow. Yeah, it's just kind of like bright yellow to kind of like a peachy, slightly lighter yellow. Whereas this is, they've changed the contrast. They have dark to light instead of light to, instead of, you know, dark to, yeah, they switched the values is what I'm trying to say. The dark purple was the lighter color in the other design, which is kind of cool actually because yellow is usually pretty bright anyway. And the contrast is a lot higher too. That one they probably should have taken like, I think they should have taken the silver color and put it where the purple on the sword is, and then I think the sword would look pretty cool. Yeah, like a really white color. Or almost white or light purple or light blue.
I just noticed the things on her shoes that were gold in her base design are bright blonde yellow hair color. And there's nothing else in the outfit that has that color.
Yeah, that one's kind of weird. I don't know if they were trying to tie her hair color in, maybe, but if I did that, I would use like a more of a red, yellow, or a yellow orange, like her hair is, rather than that kind of neon yellow. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of the way this one's put together.
Well, let's see how you like the demon form.
They took away the light value on the front of her face too, so her skin doesn't pop forward as much. And the sword is in the same color palette too, instead of being a contrasting color. Yeah, this one's kind of blah as well. Just because I'm looking at like the other one we had though, that like play between all the colors with purple, red, orange, and the kind of pewter color. So this one we went kind of a silver, but it's a little bluish, but it's kind of neither warm or cold in my opinion. It's really pretty straight neutral. And then we have much darker purple on the middle of her face and chest. So there's not as much contrast in this more saturated purple either. And they could have done like a pale blue or something. Or maybe even pale pink. That could have been neat. Like when she's lit up there for a second. But now there's no contrast in the horns either, because they're not as brightly saturated as well. I don't know. It's like they needed... They went to mid-tone everywhere, I think, is the problem on this one. Which is like, they didn't go high key. They didn't go where there's light colors. They didn't go low key either, which is really dark colors. Everything's kind of too closely to the middle. Like if they had come in and maybe like, okay, the armor's going to be all dark. And the hair or like the horns are going to be dark. That means all the light colors are going to contrast on that. Let's see, is there any color shift on the back of the tail like there was on the other model either? Yeah, it's kind of pinky. A little bit, because of purple. Yeah, I think there's just a lack of contrast in either direction, whether light or dark or bright or dull. Like the hooves on the bottom, that's a nice contrast. Like if they could have pulled that dark gray into some other areas that need to have that contrast, like the horns or the ears, that would be probably cool in my opinion. Maybe they went darker because they were going to do silver light armor, and they thought that would contrast better, but it's not. It makes everything else kind of blend in though. The armor is really kind of the only thing that pops out anymore. Man, I feel bad about this one because I kind of want to love like the idea of like a pink or purple version of what we just saw, but the colors aren't put together as well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would have been like, you know, I would have been like, this brighter, this darker, let's go, you know? Because I look at that, I'm like, it's almost there, but there's something wrong. And there's probably a few different ways we could fix that, but You know, whether we do go bright or dull, or we go light or dark, but we have to do something, and then it would be good, I think.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Alright, well, up next, we have a Galactuskin.
Oh no, why would you do this to me? Yeah, this isn't the worst Galactuskin I've seen, though.
I do like the shade of the sword.
Yeah. I wish they would tie in the teal more. It always sticks out so badly on every design. But honestly, I think using it as the hair color, it does help a lot. Rather than using it as another color on the outfit. Because that allows the outfit to have a bit more harmony in its color palette. And then it just makes her hair look like she's wearing a wig or something, you know, like she's that girl at the party. Yeah, like, so I feel like that was probably a good choice on whoever's had this assignment.
She's her base design is a popular cosplay target. I wonder if anybody's cosplayed this recolor.
I don't know. You gotta be pretty committed to purple and pink and teal accents.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that gets me is that there's not really any colors here to tie in her skin tone. It really stands out against the blues.
Yeah.
Almost to the point it doesn't look like... It looks like a weird masking or a cutout when you look at her face compared to the blue, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like... Because normally, in like a real life, that intensity of color, you'd get bounce light, so she would have a bit of a bluish tint. More so around the rest of her body. And I don't know if they were like maybe putting more blues in the highlights or something. I don't know if they're allowed to change her skin tone or not. But anyway, they did as best they could with what they had, and that's my opinion. But it's definitely a lot better than most of the other Galactus skins I've seen so far as the way it's balanced. It's just, that's a rough color palette to try to make work.
Yeah.
When you have to do it that way. But I think what they did with it was pretty good, actually. I think if they had been allowed to like tweak the skin tone a little bit, make it paler, take a little bit of the warmth out of it, I think that would have looked pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, what'd they do with their demon form? Oh my gosh. At least she was already purple, I guess. The sword's kind of cool though.
Oh yeah.
I do also like the fade out in the hair. Like, that looks cool to me. How come this one has better control of light dark than the other recolor, though? Because you see how the dark purples are used in the horns and the armor? Mm-hmm. You can go ahead and zoom in. Get a little bit closer. She stopped wiggling around. But, like, the way they turned the scales really dark. The contrast with kind of the purple. Mm-hmm. It's a real shame they had to use that violet purple in the armor, though. Because I feel like a darker color there would have, like, that matched the blue, or is another shade of that blue, would have looked really good. The pink is almost too close to her skin tone.
Yeah.
Which maybe they could have lightened up the middle of the skin tone and had that still work. But again, really rough color palette. And, like, it should be analogous, but it's just that the palette itself is so bright. Because you have neon teal, as bright as you can go, practically. Then your only dark color is a kind of blue-violet. And then on top of that, you get this kind of medium bright pink, which is kind of like a red-violet, but not really. It's just kind of magenta pink, which is not that close to blue-violet, like they skip a step and go over. And it's not really close to teal either. Because teal on the blue spectrum, you have to get pretty close to like yellow and green to get that high key. You know, darker blues and stuff are going to be closer to violet. So it's like nothing is really quite close enough or harmonized enough in this color palette to really get a good grip on anything. And I'm sure they're really restricted when they have to do this, because I've never seen them really play a lot with value or saturation or, you know, brightness when I see them with this color palette. They stick pretty close except for little shifts. Then again, I think this person with this assignment did pretty good with what they had.
Yeah.
Because even the pink areas where they did use them, they're pretty much all in the upper body. So you do have some sense of, like, pattern and groupings. Because there's not really a lot of pink, except for in, like, little spikies on the bottom armor pieces. And I think that was a good way to do it. So they'll have like this big kind of pink in the top, and then the pink starts in the hair. So it does group you to bring your eye to the top. So I'll give them award of best Galactus skin I've seen so far.
Damning with faint praise.
If you want to be a neon cyberpunk nightmare, this is the skin for you.
All right. Up next, there was a retro X-Men uniform.
Oh.
Which I really like.
That is really fun and retro. And they kept the feel of kind of like bulky metal armor right on the top. Oh, even the sword is some colors that match too.
Yeah, this is one of her best skins, I think.
Yeah, this like really nailed the assignment because it does have that vivid and retro look. There's a little bit of like dull blues here to use as cutouts to give it a little variety. The lines that are cutouts really bring the outfit a lot of movement because like you're moving up or you're swooping down with like little yellow cutouts on the side of the legs.
Mm-hmm.
And even proportion wise, like you have these big bulky boots, but then you have a big bulky yellow gauntlet that covers our whole hand so you get more yellow out of it. Big bulky glove with no sleeve. And then they changed the shape of the top piece, which I think balances really well with having more visual weight for the boots. And that, that keeps the whole outfit better balanced than if they had just used the smaller kind of wedges that they had in the default outfit. This is like super nice. I really like this a lot.
Yeah.
And I like too that the order to keep this really orderly and visually appealing, they closed up all the holes in the top of the black portion of the outfit. Because the default one, there's like all these cutouts and shapes and things. They were like, all right, patch that all in because, we've already got a lot of busy stuff going on with the boots and everything else. So let's make this one big shape. And then you kind of have this nice motif. There's a little gem of red in the sword. Thank you. One red belt, and then turn her to her shoulder, and then there's red there. It's like leads you up even. And it's the only red in the whole outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, she has cheeks for days though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She's got a snack pack back there too, look. She got snacks for you and snacks for her.
I love that there's an X on her back that you can't see because her hair covers it, but they went to the detail of modeling what was under there.
Mm-hmm. There's even a yellow back cutout with like a cross section of like the armor piece creates another X too. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're definitely looking at that, not her assets.
You can barely see that in the character inspection menu. You're definitely not going to see that in gameplay. But they did it anyway because it's a cool design piece and they wanted to go all in. Oh my god, that cake.
I told you we weren't looking at the assets. Does she have earrings or are they covered by hair?
She does have earrings.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what they are because they keep getting hidden by the hair. Are they little swords?
Yeah.
That's as best as I could tell. They're really getting covered up by the hair quite a lot.
Yep, that's her sword.
That's fun. I thought maybe they do like bigger X-Men earrings, but she already has a lot of visual stuff going on at the top, so this little tiny thing I think is pretty good. I also noticed that there's belts on the boots, but they go onto the inside, so it's a nice little repetition of like the bigger like wings on her head and the big repetition of the elements of the gauntlet. Because they keep using big sections. They don't use a lot of little tiny filigree kind of lines. They're like small and squiggly. It's all really big, thick lines. There's even little tiny little yellow accent in the kneecaps.
Mm-hmm.
In the knee armor. I think too that maybe the random leg belts are there as like another visual balancer. Because again, she has asymmetry. So we have to balance all that weight of that gauntlet on one side with a little bit of something yellow on the other side. Which could be random leg belts. It could have been a pouch. It could have been a lot of other things. Piece of cloth. Well, looks great. I wanted to see what the hell they did with the demon version of her. Oh my gosh. This is amazing.
Doesn't it rule?
they even have like killer like superhero boots with claws on them.
I think her magic does that to whatever she's wearing. It demonifies it.
Yeah, I'm not just sure, but because she's wearing shoes in the other one, but she has naked feetsies in the other versions.
Well, she's got her hooves out.
Yeah.
Here, she's just got like gauntlet foot greaves.
Yeah, I'm just saying she has actual covers on this one where she doesn't have them in the other designs we've seen yet.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like I think that her magic demonifies whatever she's wearing in different ways depending on what she's wearing.
Yeah. She also has like this massive kind of bulky belt in the middle, which is kind of fun because I think the other designs relied more on like a medieval armor look.
Mm-hmm.
So instead they're like, all right, the belt's going to be gigantic now because there is no medieval armor to stick on this superhero suit and still have it look like a superhero suit. Oh my gosh, though, this is so fun. So I really like with the skin tone. Let's have a zoom in so she'll hold up for a little bit. Because they're basically...
Oh, she's got an X on her forehead.
I was also looking at how the horns are just a lot bigger on this version.
Very different design for the horns that I really like. Like, for a lot of her skins, I think the base design is really good and the demon form is kind of or I think the base design is kind of but the demon form is pretty cool, or I think they're both bad. But this one just rules. It rips.
Yeah, and they're doing that like tightly. They're doing that thing again. We're like, let's tightly control the use of red in this whole outfit. Oh, her sword earrings also got bigger.
Oh yeah, yep, and they're her demon form sword now.
That's amazing. But I was gonna say like, there's no. I already look on the boots. There's no red on the boots, but like, there's this big red belt that's got like a bunch of like. It's actually shaped around her like armor and less like a belt.
Mm-hmm.
But still keeping that idea of like a basic superhero spandex outfit. But then they're like, all right, we're bringing all this red back into like her skin is now like this pale peach, and she's got like the side jaw armor and gigantic horns. And then she's got a little bit of red on the end of her tail, which is now more spiky and spade and blade shaped.
Yeah, it's like an axe now.
And instead of, because they don't want to bring red back into this and they don't want to do the dark purple, they're bringing there's a little bit of red on her kind of scales on her neck, but the ones on her arm are really just darker brown and a little bit of yellow and gold. So they're like really controlling red in the outfit, because that's kind of cool too, because her other outfit relied a lot on red as a way to control her skin tone, and now they're like, all right, let's leave all that on the floor and control the whole outfit as a whole.
What I think the one thing I dislike about the demon form here is that the X on her belt doesn't pop. I couldn't even tell that was an X on her belt until I took a close look.
Yeah, I don't know because it's kind of like star-shaped, and it also fits that kind of loincloth thing she had going on in her regular fit. So I'm not sure if they made some sacrifices on the whole X motif there to make the demon version. But yeah, the whole X-Men bit is lost unless you're obviously super familiar with the iconic yellow and blue outfit. But I do like the idea of using like a kind of peach and orange and yellow and red as her skin tone to make the blue and yellow and everything on here pop more, because they're going to be the brightest saturated yellows and blues. So her skin and everything has to now go and be a lot darker. So they're using dark brown on the back of her tail and her arm instead of that dark red.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're allowing a little bit of color, but only in certain places. Like her hair is blonde, her horns and scales on the face are bright, vivid red with a bit of a saturation, or not saturation change, it's the hue, their value change. So they get darker on the ends, but they're still very bright.
You know what would be interesting? Storm in these colors would be interesting to see. Like the blue and the yellow.
Oh yeah, like a daytime storm.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier that that neon colors on dark brown skin looks really cool. And one of Storm's most iconic outfits is the all white outfit, and it's because of the contrast with her skin. And I'm wondering what she would look like with a blue and yellow outfit. I think that might be a cool experiment to see happen at some point. But, unfortunately, not in the game at the moment.
Well, there'll probably be time for that at some point. Also like that they're using gray on the inside of the gauntlet too, just to break it up a little bit. Because, like, if it was all gold, it makes it a harder read. So that by putting this kind of contrast color there, it makes it really quick to be like...
Get your hair out of your gauntlet. I'm trying to look at the gauntlet.
You don't get to. She's got too much hair. It's too strong. But it's like a nice way to break up the joints and the pivot. Like, it would still read, but since that shape is at certain angles kind of weird, it really breaks up the shape in a way that we read the form of it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in some situations you want that quick read. Because I also like the little gray accent closer to her wrist. What seems to me gives a lot of form to her hands. Because you can see now the direction her hand is moving as she's like moving around.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really talk about this a lot in the other outfit about the X-Men. But they do have like a darker blue. Still very saturated. But it's a nice way to like break up the outfit too. And, you know, with the cutouts, and they have the dark blue and then the light blue. They have a little bit of light gray in the dark armor too. But it's not as high contrast. It's just like a little different. This one's just really nice. Just as nice as her base outfit. Really good control of the color. And I love that they kept everything almost cartoonishly bright. Like, her whole weapon is like primary colors. Just bright yellow, bright blue, bright red, a little bit of dark blue.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Oh, it glows when she does magic. I didn't realize that.
Oh, let's wait for her to do it again so I can see exactly what you mean.
Yeah, the red part did this little, like, maybe it was some lighting on the other side. Oh, it must have caught the lighting on the other side when she did it, because it made this part of the sword all light up when she did her fire, but it's probably from the fire emitting light. See what I mean?
Yeah.
It did look like it was animated for a second. But hey, dang, the material choices in this game, everything is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And oh god, it's what's so fun about it too. It's not only illustrated, but like material and movement has character to it. Like her superhero outfit has these little dots that show up because of the material when it catches the light. Like her horns have these reflections that when she turns and catches the light. Not to mention that it has a built-in engine for like these enormous kind of stark graphic highlights on the side. And sometimes they have rim lighting too, so they'll have like the white highlight and then they'll have like another color as a rim light to really bring out the silhouettes of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I just know what they do with the dark gray on the knee pieces too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is a really fun outfit. I like the combination of like her kind of look with the sort of classic comic book hero bright outfit.
It rules.
It does. And it feels bulky, and that's what's so fun about it. I think the gauntlets was a really great idea to just give her weight. So, you know, it's like rah! Whereas like the other ones, she still has weight and character, but like the other ones when they're bare, they more speak like speed or just like she's immovable. But this gives her like a lot more weight. Plus like I love the little weapons on the ends of the toes, the little claws.
Mm-hmm.
So fun. I need people to take notes and be like future game developers of the world and just make some crazy games, because this is this great character design. Alright. I don't know if there's much more I can say on that one, but it's just awesome.
It just rules. Alright, let's see. There are 4 costumes left. No, there are 5. Hang on. This is from the Phoenix and Symbiote season. Phoenix Magic.
Oh, this is fun. I like the kind of animated motifs, and also that they're changing. They're messing around with some repetition of lines in like the fire and the hair, because when you had her with a side view for a minute, Like their hair is actually floating upward on the back.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah, so like there's like a little bit of like this light airy kind of design that they've done here.
Oh, her skirt's on fire. That's fun.
There's another phoenix on the back of her jacket. Then repeating that same kind of shape with the X on the belt, which is on the back. I like how they have like thinner spikes and more of them.
Oh, if you look at that X, the way the line in it is, it's kind of a beak facing downward, with the top half of the X being wings.
Yeah. I like how the belt goes upward too, and it's all woven in too. So there's kind of like these two little side wings underneath the X that are woven between the brown band. I'm sure when they did this, they drew like all sorts of little shapes because I think the Phoenix ones we looked at before were very Art Deco inspired. Because they would take like very stylized geometric shapes and make them bird.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of like what they have going on here with the center piece of her outfit. And I love that the collar gives it more form too. So it's like it's coming up and around her shoulders, and then it's like actually curved around her neck as well. Because the orange of that jacket is about almost matching with that color, just a little duller and golden. So it's, you know, but it matches the color scheme. Little V silver shape. But you have kind of a fun contrast of warms and cools, really. So we have like big shape on the top, bright orange hair. And I love the cut to that too, actually. It's really fun. I think it plays nice with the fact that the rest of the outfit is doing that geometric Art Nouveau thing. So it's like this contrast of like, you know, because Art Deco was very, and Art Nouveau too is more nature, but Art Deco specifically was very concerned with the modern future, like what futurism was going to look like. So, you know, it's like everything is sharp lines, man-made, measured, but also beautiful and decadent. And if you live in, I might be overseas too, but if you live in the U.S. or get to visit any like large cities, you can still find evidence of these like beautiful Art Deco designs that are really about repetitions of design and geometry. It actually kind of reminds me a lot of like Islamic art, which is also very geometric focused and like bringing that into a design. But yeah, it's like so you have dark grays, really saturated colors. But again, with the red and yellows and oranges, yellow is brighter in value than red. So even though their brightness is pretty similar, they also still have a contrast because the red is just going to appear darker next to yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a zoom out. Because in this case, they didn't do as much asymmetry at the top of her outfit. There's still a little, but it's way more subtle than her other outfits. So they pulled more asymmetry into the length of her her interesting stocking boots. I'm not sure if you can buy those, but they look cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd put spikes on the inside of the thighs, but you know, she can do as she wants. I won't argue with a lady with a sword. And like they kept a lot of the color at the top and the middle too, so they don't really have reds and stuff on the bottoms of the outfit. Even on the arms, it's just the red gloves. So like all that yellow and orange is just straight up top heavy on this one. It looks great. I don't know what in the world they're going to do with the demon version of this, but it's got to look awesome because this looks great.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm noticing as an overall motif is that the brightest saturation is right in the center of her chest. So even though she's wearing like gold horns, those gold horns are actually much duller than the orange hair or the other outfit colors, which I think is awesome. It gives some variety, but also kind of brings your eye back to the brighter colors. And the sword just looked great in this color scheme too, honestly. And they stuck with the original, in which they, actually they didn't stick with the original. The original was light to dark. This one they're doing dark with a light end, but it looks way better than the recolor on the purple and magenta sword. So see, it can be done. I do like the broken belt, because it makes this one big center shape to make you go up and down through her outfit, so you're not like really stopped like most other belts.
Yeah, it's a very cool detail.
And you know, like that whole like flowing down dress cuts out the shape of her thighs, so you know it's like this kind of nice shape and upward. It's really nice. Even the boots have a lot of nice details though. I didn't realize they were heeled boots though.
Oh,
Until
yep.
you just spun them around.
Yep.
But no, I was actually looking at before I got distracted by heels. That's got to be terrible on her feet. But from the front, you can see like there's kind of like a strip of spikes over the top, and then like another couple belts on the top. But then we have kind of like a lot of lacing and things too. So I feel like it just creates a bunch of nice shapes, and there's a lot of variety there. And then there's like some variety in the stockings, and then we go back to pretty much flat around the middle of her whole outfit. So it's like you get a break. So you get like this arms, complex, center, rest. And then you go down, and it's like complex. And, you know, the center is like a place where you can rest. I don't know if she looks that way from the back or not, but I think it probably, yeah, it's pretty similar from the back as well. It's like you have a lot of complexity on the extremities and the boots, and then like the center, rest. Which is like a thing you can get caught up in, because I've seen designs for some RPGs and stuff where they do like all the complex lacings and all these little lines and all this stuff. And eventually, like, it looks cool because there's like so much stuff happening, but also you're like, you don't remember the design as much because it was so hard to look at that much complexity. Like, you know, and like, whereas like simpler designs, and you can go so simple, you know, you're like, oh yeah, the hat and the boots and the da-da they always wear, because the outfits become iconic because there's like a place where your eyes get to rest.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this one a lot. Of like the edges are what's most complex on her silhouette, and then the center is like, yeah, rest here.
Huh. The fire on the end of her skirt. Mm-hmm. It's actually an invisibility texture on a fully modeled piece of clothing. Like, you see how it's fading stuff in and out?
Yeah, especially on the edge of the corners where you see it like pop in where it's attached to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it probably has like some kind of alpha color that will be invisible, and then the rest of it is just like a repeating texture. So the garment is probably actually there, but it's just told to be invisible wherever that color is. It's still a really cool effect though.
Yeah. Alright, you want to see your demon form?
Let's go for it. Let's see what they did. Hell yeah. Ooh. This one has a lot of complexity too. And this one, she has chain loincloth.
Yep.
Because she has more of like a leotard kind of thing going on. Holy cow, though. I do think it's an interesting idea to take the horns down and like actually make more of a phoenix battle thing going on. But they do have a lot of like really bright colors are in certain areas. So like the top and center, a lot of brightness, and then like the tail is kind of like this whole bright area. And it's on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and her hair is feathers.
Yep.
And they kept a bit of the purple a lot, actually. It's just, especially in the face, it's more pink toned, but by the time you get to the legs and stuff, it's very purple. That's kind of a fun play on colors, because they could have went just all fire. Like, you know, yellow, orange, red, and then all the varieties of red, orange, and yellow, orange, and so on. But they really went with this pink, kind of red-violet color. Oh, I like that it has little feathers on the back. Too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just realized too that the dark armor parts are also just black feathers on our legs.
Oh yeah, so they are.
Yeah, there's a lot of repeating feathers and like very little actual cloth or armor. Even her boob armor is kind of like big wings.
Yep.
And they kept the spikies on the one pauldron too, technically. They're just much more controlled and regular. I also like that the wrist piece becomes kind of a flame shape because it's repeating, but it has some holes in it. So it kind of looks like a bit like a repeating flame. And that's kind of more or less what they did. They went with the Art Deco, everything must be geometric and controlled. But then they pull in a little bit of that kind of, okay, but everything's going to be fire-shaped motif or feather-shaped, and we're going to repeat that over and over on literally everything. There's a little bit of back armor, but it's kind of hard to see in most angles. I really like the idea, because mostly of the time you can do a contrast of armor with fabric, but I really like the idea of like they did this kind of like feather kind of jacket underneath the armor. I just also realized like some of her is like just straight up fire. That top of her tail is like the bottom of it is held by the stripes. It's not the fire going through the holes more or less, but more of like the pieces are held onto her tail. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Turner, oh, she also has the fire motif on the edges of her this outfit, but they're not lined up properly. Or at least they don't look like they are. They're kind of in the middle. The tails of her jacket, see?
Oh yeah, the invisible fire texture.
Yeah, but the things aren't invisible.
Oh, whoops. That's a whoops.
I wonder if they just got misplaced in the wrong spot, or if they were going to color the ends, or something else happened. But it doesn't look bad. It just kind of like, oh, wait. Let's see. Let's turn her towards the front a little bit. Because I was just looking at how they controlled the color red a bit. Because there was a red gem on her non-sword side. On there. See? It's red.
Yep.
It's almost like they controlled all the red to be pretty much on the sides or the back, and then she has basically a violet streak up through the middle. It's a nice grouping. So you really have this kind of like warm and cold. And even the grays are kind of like a purple gray. I really like the chains too. Just kind of fun idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I still wonder, because I'm thinking if I just don't like the pink, or if it's just because it's kind of different from all the red oranges. Because they do have purple, so they can technically use it. But I keep feeling like my eye gets drawn up through the middle of her body. I wonder if it was me if I would, because I really like fiery colors. I wonder if I would have went more like with a ashy gray color for all the red pieces. But they needed something, I think, to tie in the purples, so. And maybe they didn't want to do light value because the yellow pieces wouldn't have popped as much. That's my only thought about it. I think, overall, I think this is really cool. Mm-hmm. And that just might be my personal preference of the way I like colors, because as an artist, you start doing a lot of color, you tend to just gravitate to some more than others, because that's your personal preference. Or it's personal preference. Mm-hmm. But I do like the idea, like they really threw a bunch of feathers into this design all over, even on the legs, because there's purple ones around the bands of the gold pieces too.
It is a little weird that the feathers are going against the grain of how feathers would go.
Well, part of it's armor and part of it's not, because like it's on her armor as well.
I meant the ones on her thighs.
Oh, they're going downwards? Or you mean
that they start from the knee and go up, rather than starting from the waist and go down.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Birds are weird.
Yeah, fair enough.
I do like the black feathers as being her horns on the top, though.
Yeah.
And like the darker color for the ears. Like, it just creates this really interesting look. She even has kind of like bird-like eyes. They're like black and with gold. How close will they let you get to them anyway? Just this close?
This close.
But yeah, this is a cool design. This would be fun to play as.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I start making more money in a month, I'll pick it up in your honor. All right. Anything else to say about this one?
I don't think so. It's pretty. pretty neat. I like it.
Okay, we're going to take a quick detour into rivalskins.gg, or I guess it's rivalskins.com now, and to show you her Christmas skin.
Can you full screen that?
Yeah, I will when it finishes loading.
Oh no! Christmas is ruined.
Oh no.
I don't know, like my first impression was like, this doesn't look very festive compared to the other ones.
You refresh. Okay, refreshed. Watch video. If it'll load. Is the video broken? Hang on. Let's see. It's... let's find a short video if we can. That's gonna show off another skin I don't want you to see yet. Let's try this video.
Did they literally give her a chainsaw?
Yep.
Alright.
She uses it as a snowboard.
She has a chainsaw snowboard.
Yep.
Oh my god. Someone over here on this design is playing 4D chess. Huh. I do like the orange bits because it does feel very like safety snow outfit, ski gear kind of motif, which is just kind of using common language. They really did like a shape thing too, like they're gonna give her huge torso and then they give her a little tiny jacket. Play with the proportions there. I also really like the goggles as a motif too because they're so large. Like the shapes on this outfit are so fun. Even the shapes on the crazy snowboard slash like chain sword thing. Like that is a fun design. I like the repetition of like these crisscrosses and cutouts and things. And it's all very low contrast, so the really eye-catching bit is the silver portion of it on the hilt. So it really is just really comes together really nice. Even the gloves and the white jacket are really grouped well together.
I like that she's got an M on the back of her shirt.
For Magik.
In a very 80s style.
Can you imagine if you're just like, covered in snow from an avalanche and this is the person that shows up to save you?
Hang on, am I on the right internet thing? Oh, no, I have my PNG tuber up. Whoops.
Whoops. You want me to do over?
Nope.
Okay.
It didn't block anything. It was about this part of the screen.
I was Loreweaver the whole time. Alrighty. There's also like a lighter blue on the top of the outfit and darker blue on the bottom of the pants.
Yeah?
And they have little zippers on the bottoms too. They actually really played up the shape on the bottom of the pants. Because they're almost like flower-like. Whoa! High def. I can see everything. Oh, she even has her spiky pauldron. I just noticed at the last minute that it's just like stuck on like a piece of battle gear. But more like sports equipment than an actual piece of armor. That's funny. Alright, should we look at what they did with her demon form? Is she see-through?
A little bit.
'Tis the season, I guess.
She's a snow globe.
The sword is maybe too much.
The sword is wild.
They actually have little wings.
Yep.
I'm really disappointed, though, they didn't go for a Krampus motif, though. It was right there. Could you imagine? Krampus with a chainsaw.
Mm-hmm.
Great, now I'm going to have to draw that. I do like the idea of the little belts as being like little bits of flaps and parts of a costume that are like almost, feather-like. Because they don't make sense whatsoever, but they look cool. I'm not sure, are you saying the inside's a snow globe? Like there's stuff in it?
You see stuff moving around in there?
All I kind of see is fire and like a golden motif thing. There's also ice on the hoods.
Down in her crotch area, there's like bubbles moving and stuff.
Huh. I wonder what's the idea behind that, because it's like a very unusual design to just go full Donald Duck here. Like that's the part I don't understand.
It's a real pussy out look.
Oh wait, there's tail armor. There's legit tail armor. Like if you rewind it back, look at this. Tail armor.
Oh yeah.
They are nude. They are beyond Donald Duck. It's a pussy outlook.
Yeah.
What the hell? I don't get it, but I'm like, and I don't. It's not even I don't get it and I like it. It's just a legit I don't get it.
Yeah, no, it's a weird one.
But I love this sword, and I really like the ice patch on the shoulder as being like the spiky thing.
Oh, you've come around on the sword. I thought you said it was too much.
It was too much, but I wasn't sure if it was in a good or a bad way. Because just look at it.
It's wild.
And like I like the what they did with the jacket. I'm not sure what the wings are supposed to be doing here because she didn't have them in any other design I've seen yet. So I'm not sure if it's a reference to something.
No, I think they were just trying to design something that looked funky.
Maybe, but it just seems like there's such a wasted potential for something in the middle of the outfit. Like what if they had done the ski pants, but then like the bottoms are cut off or something,
Yeah.
Like they were like, because when you cut them open, there's all that fluffy stuff in the middle. Especially because she kind of looks like the way she reminds me of is like search and rescue kind of stuff, because she has a chainsaw and it just like, I know it doesn't make sense, but in my head it's like she's skiing is dangerous, and what if they did like a messed up skier, like biffed it out on a tree or something, version. Like I don't know, there just seems like they could have played around the different angle, and I'm not sure what the patterns on the legs are even supposed to be either.
No idea. I have no idea.
Like, this is one where, like, well, it kind of looks like those vaguely Knoll-ish, but that wouldn't fit at all either. Because the spiral, it's spiky.
Yeah.
But I don't think that matches Knoll's thing either.
No, it doesn't.
So it's just like, there's just no common motif on this part of the outfit. So it's just like, except for the fact that it's just weird, and some people like bad design. I just don't get what they're trying to do on this one, honestly.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
All right, so that's that skin. Let's head back to the game. And I will show you next her launch shop skin, which is a pretty cool one.
Alrighty. Ooh, it's like a Ice Queen Ghost Knight motif. And the sword's even a different shape.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot more curves, which honestly probably matches what they were doing with the rest of the outfit, because they took off a lot of the triangle spiky danger. And now it's like they're putting in a lot more curves, and so that reflected in the sword is a pretty cool idea. I also like that the X is a part of that sword design too.
Oh yeah, so it is.
Even on the, yeah, this is pretty sweet. Oh, I love the little piece of fabric off the one shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
The asymmetry is supreme. I feel like that must be a nice thing for her character though, because she's also like a demoness, but also an X-Men. So it's kind of this contrast between good and bad. as far as like the way her character would be perceived. So they kind of show that as a, she has asymmetry in her design quite often. Probably as a, like this character is not ordered versus chaos, so.
I will say I was a little disappointed when I played Marvel Midnight Suns, and you don't get to turn into her demon form until you unlock her ultimate at the end of her social link. And you're not going to do that until very late in the game, probably.
Bummer.
So I came from Marvel Rivals, where it was central to her gameplay, to Marvel Midnight Suns, where it's almost an afterthought. Though it does do a cool thing where it taunts the entire enemy field and makes her invincible for a turn, and gives her a counterattack.
There is a fun thing they're doing with shape here that I see with the pauldron down to the hip, where it's kind of this U shape. And then I think it's going to be repeated on the other side, because there's a darker gray on the back panel. So it kind of creates these like almost like a wave cresting and going outward, or like a flower blossoming open kind of shape. And I think it kind of does that same thing from this front too, because I was talking about how there's a lot more curves in this design. So utilizing look at the curves from like the hips up to the shoulders. And it's all like waves cresting, right? They're like spreading into like this Y shape as they go up and then out, up and then out, up and then out. Even the crown kind of creates a more curved look, because the crown with the little horns are, making this bigger connected shape. So everything just has this kind of really nice, gentle upward motion overall as a design. It's really nice. Which I think is what makes this kind of, especially with the color scheme too, but even in general, this feels like a knight of, order and like a good knight. And I feel like the curves and things really do that. Also, she has an M on her tabard loincloth thing.
Oh, so she does.
So I thought there was a fork shape too, and I was like, wait a minute, it's the letter M. But I think that shape is also kind of repeated too in like the top portions of the chest armor. And like vaguely in the neck piece as well. I keep telling myself I'll go back and study the names of armor pieces, and then I don't, so. I know they all have technical names, but that's okay. We can all be confused together. This is a lot of fun play of like subtle changes of gray too, because we have white, we have a silver, it's a light gray, and then we have a kind of a dark gray that's also a little metallic. So we have 3 different values that are in the whole outfit. And a lot of them are grouped together in ways, so like the body part is cut up in pieces by the dark gray. So we have like the neck piece, the chest piece has a big line of gray to cut it up, and then we have those 2 long lines going down to the hips. Then pretty much all the other shapes and forms and stuff are just changes in light grays. So they're not as, they're grouped together by our eyes. Make it easier to piece together this design. Let's do the wide view and get a look at the legs and the leg pieces. Ooh, she has a spike on the sides of her legs. And even her toes are pointed. That's also kind of fun too, though. They're keeping a little bit of pointiness, because she does have some gems and stuff on her hips. And the tips of the pauldrons are a little bit pointy, but they really rounded off a lot of stuff. So even the points are a little bit of gentle curves. Right? It's like gentle curve, point. Gentle curve, point. So yeah, it's like if you wrote down like the rules of when they started to design this outfit, they probably went, okay, some pointy, because it's magic and that's her whole design motif, but they're like, curves. Curve everything. And then just changing the overall shape of things to incorporate far more curves. Even the sword design, you can see curves and things in it. Very cool. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this one.
The demon form rips. Ready?
Okay. Hell yeah. Oh, I love the braids. Again, like, where they took this character and like, let's order it, right? We're gonna make it look more refined. So they took her wild hair and braided it. So it's like, that's organized. Nice idea. Kind of fun that they kept some of the red in her face, because you can't not look there, because it's just your eye just keeps popping up to it. And in this case, even though it doesn't harmonize with a lot of stuff, because it's only used in pretty much that section, that just makes it a focal point of the whole design. Which is probably good, because there's kind of a lot of stuff going on as far as, like, this armor design has a lot of variety in it.
Mm-hmm.
It does help you from getting lost, because every time at least my eyes looking at the armor, I'm like going everywhere. I'm like, whoa, there's this big like metal chest piece with like a gem kind of snowflake almost diamond look. And that's like a huge chunk of that armor, and then it makes a giant M on the gray piece with a lot
Oh my god, it does.
And that like points, and then her waist is dark gray, so we get a bit of a break there before it pops open again with like these repeating armor pieces on the hip. There's like 3 pieces there, the big loincloth, another diamond, and then another giant leg piece with more gems and more armor. So like just having that moment of you know, her face is much more simple, and the red is the only spot it's used there. Feels nice. We also have the full feet armor back. This one, it's just her hooves that are pointed out though.
Yep.
It's kind of cute. And then, it's kind of cool. They really let her tail go dark. And there's not really much purple in it that I can see. And the kind of neon blue.
She's got a red 13 tail, though. On fire at the end.
Yeah. But they really pulled the fire effects in a lot of areas. Obviously, the sword is so huge, it takes up a large chunk of her character design. Because it's enormous.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might even be larger than normal. It feels like it is. It's kind of cool too. They really took the hilt of this, and it's like an ice sword, but also like there's almost like a face, demon face as the hilt, and then like a round piece that's kind of like ruins and portal stuff on it. It's very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's some spikies because she has rings with spikes on them. But man, bringing the sharp points of her design in here, they're very careful and methodical about where they're going to bring in sharp stuff. Because they still even want her demon form to look a little bit more ordered and organized. Man, though. And then like the purples go really dark by the time it gets to her legs. Because her skin tone is usually kind of like more of a lavender. Really light purple. And it goes really nice with the blue. I'm really digging the color of blue and then the horns where they kind of fade out from teal. And then they give it a little bit of highlight at the edges again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is really nicely done. There's also like, this is where you can kind of tell that the white is I think are they bringing back more of that kind of pewter color in the silver too?
A little bit.
It kind of seems like it. But it could be just bringing some blues into that too. But the hair is actually a cream white, while the armor is, you know, like silver and more of a neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So that means like that white has some yellow in it to make it a kind of a different shade of white. And that's kind of how it goes. You can have like a cool white, a warm white, which is cream. And then you can have a neutral, which is kind of trying to meet that middle. But by the time you put it next to other colors, or if you put like a neutral next to cool colors, it tends to look warmer. So sometimes you'll pair a cool white or something so that your colors don't look warmer than you intend. But having it be in that kind of greenish, slightly itty bitty little bit, but greenish category, I think goes well with the teals since they're closer together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this one. It's fun. I also kind of noticed when she throws her sword down into the ground, like the whole of the middle of the sword almost looks like an open mouth. If you turn her slightly that direction, the other direction. I guess you can see it there too. But you see it, how like the two little parts of it kind of create teeth, and there's like 2 teeth on the bottom, so that open hole looks like a screaming maw.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you're a demon, doesn't have a sword this cool, like we can't be friends. There's even like a hook at the end, which is kind of a fun design. Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much the other ones have played around with her sword design as much, but this one really does. I kind of want to go back and look, but we've been looking at a lot of recolors.
Whoops. Let's see. We've got standard sword.
Yeah, because it has like the big blocky end.
Standard sword. Standard sword.
Well, that one's the base outfit. It should have the standard sword.
And she's got the chainsaw in...
Yeah, the holiday one.
I don't know whether I like the Eldritch Armor sword or the chainsaw better. They're both pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if they'd allow you to mix and match?
That would be rad. Alright, anything else to say about this one?
No, I think we did pretty well on this one.
Okay, next I'm going to show you her anniversary skin, because yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Marvel Rivals release. It's got a whole intro and everything.
Y2K.
Yep. I think this skin is okay.
Huh.
I don't think the demon form is okay. We'll get to that in a minute.
I'm trying to figure out what in the hell direction they were trying to go with, except for Baby Girl.
Yeah.
Because even the belts on the tights are kind of lingerie-like.
Yeah. She got this weird clear plastic skirt.
Yeah, because usually it would be like holographic, so it'd be shiny. And they did that on like a different character we looked at. I think it was Luna Snows, where it had like holographic elements. But this is just straight up clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's clear plastic with neon colored scribbles on it. Or I guess in it.
Yeah, I mean, they had some clear backpacks and stuff from the 2000s that were kind of like that. I don't know about very many fashion accessories, but we did
Whoops.
have a few weird ones. Whoops.
I was looking at the title of the skin and I forgot it would do this.
Well, did learn yet. Back to 2000. Well, hey, I nailed the decade. It's right there in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Needs more Tamagotchi. Pom-poms and the hair braids and like the kitty. The kitty headphones was later.
Yeah, the kitty headphones were like late 2000s, early 2010s.
As you can't lie to me. I was there when the tomes were written.
I've got pink kitty ear headphones sitting on my entertainment center.
But the big chunky bracelets are on point though. Let's do another zoom out. Just because I was trying to she's got like the kind of fur boots thing going on. I'm not sure what's with the tights though, because none of it really makes sense the way it's designed. Because they've done that kind of thing for some of the superhero spandex stuff, but it's usually like on top of another fabric. And it's like a superhero outfit, but this like has a knee piece that connects to the belt, but the back of it is just one piece if you spin her around. So like what is holding up the bottom pieces? Are they sewn into the that top piece? Because it doesn't seem like it, but maybe it is. And then she has cut-off shorts, which honestly, if it was 2000s, the bottom of her pants should be way lower. Just saying. Those things barely covered. Then also you should see some ass crack if it was period correct. Sorry, I'm getting off a little off topic. Does she have little tassels on the back? They're like little bunny ears on the hood of her jacket that she's not wearing. Is that what it is?
Huh. Yeah, I think it might be. A little bit of Galacta teal.
The heart as holding the back of the thing, it reminds me of some stuff you could get though, where it was like, but they were usually much smaller. That's like oversized, but it would like have like that kind of top that would be held on with like a little cute decal belt piece on the back.
Man, this outfit needs more black. Not because she's a goth, but because black and pink contrast very well.
Yeah, I think it was, that's kind of. I wanted to look at every piece and just individually just to see what it was, but I feel like that is what it is lacking a lot of is some kind of contrast. Because like we've seen some like really bearskin outfits before, but like there's nothing really that fun about this one.
Yeah.
It looks like Barbie just got bored and wore what was ever in the bottom of her closet.
And like she's worn girly pink in the comics before for like fun and casually, but this just doesn't look good.
And what's with the Bill like hat thing too? Like
The visor?
yeah, like I think it's the thing of like there's multiple design languages going on here and there's been streetwear where you mix and match and stuff. And like but this doesn't go by any logic that I can pin down. I think that's my major problem with it right now. Or maybe my major problem is it's a little bit it feels a little Gen Z and it says back to 2000, so make up your mind. Is she going to wear the Crocs or not? You know?
This is from when we were 12.
But it doesn't match from when we were 12. That's my problem with it.
Oh my god, you mentioned Crocs. Mr. Fantastic's anniversary skin has him in Crocs and it's horrifying.
But there is this kind of like trend of like 2000s fashions are becoming popular and coming back into the younger generation because they find it appealing and they think it's neat.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like kind of this nostalgia for a time that was better because the internet and like time and previous decades always feel nicer even if they weren't technically were. And it's usually like a thing of like it's usually like 2 decades back is like the nostalgic era of the current day or something like that. So like for us it was like the nostalgic era was the 80s, and then like
oh yeah, here's a fun fact for all of you in the audience who are our age. Bowling for Soup's 1985 came out closer to 1985 than to today.
Will, it was supposed to be a fun fact. Oh. That anyway. Oh, she's got an orange and yellow belt. But there's a little bit of orange and peach in the fur of the outfit, too, and purples, too. So the color actually does go well together. I just feel like the design of the outfit as far as, like, material and culture and vibe, I cannot figure out what they're trying to do. Because they did, like, oh, she's sporty. Oh, she's baby girl. Oh, she's, oh, so Y2K. Like, I don't know. Nothing... all of them don't go together. They needed to make up their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see, like, Band-Aid on her nose, like, I'm the punk girl, but then, like, it's all cutesy stuff. And then it's like, well, you can be cutesy and punk, but then why is she wearing a sports visor? Like,
you know what bothers me about the skin the more I look at it? Her headphones are situated such that they're the smallest they can be. Like, they're all the way scrunched in, and they're still too big for her head.
Right? They don't touch the top of her head.
Yeah.
Oh, that would look so much nicer, too, though, if they close that gap and just let the ears be on her head.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's got ears, and then she's got pigtails, but then they give her 2 little hair swishes so she could have the 2 thingies that she normally has.
Oh, that's what the hair tufts are. They're her crown.
Yeah, it's like, there's like just a lot of stuff that seems like it could be better. Because they just didn't commit to something overall. That and she just, like, I know she's supposed to be wearing, like, booty shorts, but, like, the way they designed it, it just looks like she's just straight up wearing lingerie.
Yeah.
They should have given her a black skirt. Or maybe, like, a holographic silver skirt.
Mm.
I think that would have done it for me. Because it would have balanced the shapes. Because right now, she's just so bottom heavy. Because there's nothing from, like, the top of her shirt down that's contrasting or interesting to look at. So it's like this enormous space on her design that there's nothing to look at until you hit boots. Is that happening for you too? It's like,
yeah.
As far as like visually, like the jacket kind of neat, and then like the front piece it sticks out, and then it's like nothing.
I think if they built the costume around that front piece and her tube top and the colors and style therein, I think they could come up with a pretty good costume. But that's the best part of a costume that has nothing to do with it.
Also, she did an animation where her belt stuck onto, like, this section. It's stuck here.
Oh, whoops.
It, like, animates up there when she moves her sword up, and then it just slowly goes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's weird. For those who haven't caught it, she has a star on her belt, and directly to the left of that on our screen, whenever we zoom in and out, it twists.
Nope. Nope. Sorry, it had nothing to do with the design. It just amused me. I do like the little charm on her sword, though.
Oh, the heart?
Yeah, that's fun. I like that. They should have took that charm and then made that the inspo for the whole outfit. Like, let's do angular pink. And, like, there was, like, pink punk girl stuff at the time. Because it was, like, you know, there was the whole, like, girls can do it too. And we're not like the other girls. So, you know, there was, like, that contrast of, you know, punk girl propaganda that was all over. And so, like, they could have picked something that would have went better, I think, with this character.
I think at minimum, adding a lot more black to this outfit would make it look better because of the contrast. But
because I was noticing, like, the decal on the sword and her little charm on her belt, like, that also screams like magical girl. I think there's just too much contrast in motifs, because there's, like, is she sporty? Is she baby girl? Is she magical girl? You know, or is she, like, because the fur coat is kind of like the kind of posh, you know, designer kind of vibe, you know, like it was, you know, Barbie, right? Rich Barbie, but Barbie. And I think it's just and the bracelets are like and she's got rings too. Like, there was a style of, like, kidcore where you would wear, like, kids jewelry and stuff as a teen. It wasn't my thing, but, like, it came back a couple times, a little bit after the 2000s, probably like mid 2000s or 2000s.
Her bracelets are M's.
But, like, I think that's, for me, is what's making me really not like this, is there's too much of a we didn't pick a direction, we just threw all of it at the wall.
Yeah.
I did want to look at the sword a bit, because I didn't really comment on a whole lot. I do like it has a dial on the bottom for, like, music. And even the arrow is a play button. The color on it is nice. I would have been sorely tempted to make it look something like an original iPod in my case. I'm like, I probably would have put, like, you know, something or other. You know what would have been fun if instead of music it had a Tamagotchi creature on the screen?
Oh, what if it was Tamagotchi demon form?
Yes, see? They should hire me. But yeah, it's like one of those, like, it needs some changes, and I needed to pick a direction, and I think it would have been good. They did do 100% into modeling whatever they were given. They were just giving something really weird.
Yeah. All right, are you ready to have this ruined?
I was just thinking maybe the 2000s was different in China. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, you ready to have this ruined? Are you ready for the worst demon form out of all of them?
Okay. Oh, the hat. Oh, no. They had full permission to use those bunny ears in the other outfit, and then they just avoided it entirely to do whatever this monstrosity was.
Yup.
Oh my gosh. It's so close to having something, too, because it kind of reminds me of some of that 2000s era, like, manga where they had just the weirdest gremlin magical girl creature, because the genre exploded, and of course there's always going to be that one guy's like, well, it's not going to be cute anymore.
Yeah.
But this doesn't even hit that. It just looks teeth on the hat.
I will say the color scheme of this is better than the base design, but the design is just ugh.
I think they also have a bit too much going on, because I don't like the M's on the fur, the dark fur there. Mm-hmm. Even withstanding, if you put a design like that on fur, it would look that clean anyway, so it just looks like a stamp. And, like, why do we even need it there? I know she's supposed to be stickered or whatever because of, fashion, but why not make her look like a sticker journal with, like, felt patches or something on, or embroidered patches, instead of whatever that is. And she has a whole She has a charm bracelet belt. I'm trying not to look at her face because I can't stand it.
Her face is too human.
It's not even that. It's just like the glasses are ugly. The hat's ugly. And why did we even see her eyes anyway? Because, like, I don't know what they're trying to go for. They covered her ears, too, which is kind of funny. It's like, wouldn't you, I don't know, want to put the bunny ears there if you're going to have a bunny hood thing?
The ears clip a little at the right angle, and you can see the points.
The points?
Yeah, her ears are pointed.
Oh, I see it now.
Yep, you see it sticking through the hood there?
Yep. That's funny. They're like, we're gonna make them shorter and not, and like, I don't know, why did you even model them? Honestly, you can't see them.
Yeah.
Oh well. I do like the little back patch on the back though. That's kind of fun.
Oh, the heart?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool. If the bunny ears would get out of the way.
Yeah. Good luck seeing it. The whole vest thing is really kind of meh. Why didn't they pick a direction? They were like, Jester, but they're like, also insane, also bunny. Like, pick a lane. I guess the Jester ears are supposed to be the horns, but like, no. Why not just why not just do a jackalope or something, you know? Like, that would have horns and it would be bunny. We'd get it.
I think this is the first time that the sword, possibly the first time that the sword is cooler in the base form than it is in the demon form.
And in the hilt does make it look like they're trying to do magical girl, especially because it has a charm and emojis coming off the end. Is that part of her sword? Oh, that's part of the background. Wait,
yeah.
Is that part of the background in the front?
Yep.
Oh, why?
I don't know why.
She's too large. She could not be contained. I thought it was part of the sword design for a minute, which I thought, hey, cool, if it had like floating emoji decals, that might be kind of cool.
Nope, not that cool.
Can you imagine if it had like floating, you know, especially if we did the Tamagotchi theme. They should have called us, I'm just telling you.
Sorry, I should say, nope, it's not that cool. As in, your idea would have been cooler than what we got.
Right? Please, let me do your Y2K designs. I understand. I was there. Also, the leg armor is really weird because it's like a feather boa wrapped around the thighs and not actually like a clothing article. Or she just has really weird shaving habits. Your choice.
No, that's multiple rings of fabric. It's not one thing wound around her leg.
It's not a spiral?
Nope. I thought it was at first too, but no, look.
Yeah. And there's like small pieces of the design that I think are kind of cool. Like I like the Kingdom Hearts-esque tail spade.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And like I like the teeth on the boots. That feels cool. Because they're like big old-fashioned boots and she has big old feet.
Mm-hmm.
You really lose the silhouette of the feet though and all that fur though because they just cut up her whole thing. But then it's like, they had a chance to do something interesting with the glasses and the hat, and it's like the trim of the hat blends into the glasses, and the glasses don't have a contrasting color either, so you can't really pick out the shape of the eyes or the lenses. And then the yellow is in this outfit, but it doesn't really feel like it goes with anything. It's just kind of there. And they've done accent colors before, but like this doesn't look pleasant. It's like she fell into mustard. You know, maybe they should have went pastel yellow to go with the whole, like, girly bop Y2K thing.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I think is kind of neat or cute is the charm bracelet belt. Because, you know, charm bracelets were, like, a huge thing. And friendship bracelets and so on. But I think that's all I can say I like, is those three things. Everything else is just a disaster. Like, the pink fur jacket just blends into the skin tone. The hat's awful. There's very low contrast in most of the outfit. The black was a good addition, but like a little too late for that, right? Like they should have had it in the base outfit too.
I do kind of like the blue claws.
Yeah, the cyan. And you know, if they were being on point with what they've done with her previous character design, they should have went goth, because goth was really hot in the 2000s. And like they went and they're using punk motifs for her, so I'm like they should have went like old school mall goth aesthetic from like Hot Topic.
Mm-hmm.
With like the striped, you know, hand warmers and the black nail polish and the band t-shirts and all that stuff.
There's even fictional Marvel bands she could be a fan of, like Dazzler, who is, I believe, another X-Man.
Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know what they were thinking, honestly. Like, I don't know why anyone looked at this design, even on this is way worse than the other one. I could see maybe, like if it was okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how anyone looked at this design and thought, oh yeah, this is a fun take on the Magik demon. And it just bothers me too that the horns are not in the right place for where you would expect them to be. Like, I want them to be off the front of her hat, and for some reason her hat has weird teeth.
Yeah.
And you like, I've seen like fashion, I'm trying to remember what the name of the magazine was, but there was a magazine in Japan that had like alternative fashion that people like made up on their own, and then this guy would go out and take pictures, and it became very famous to the point that I think at some point he decided to retire because people were doing it on purpose at that point, and he was more about the integrity of like people and self-expression.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't even feel like this gets to that level either, because again, we couldn't pick a lane, so we just have too many contrasting motifs that don't really say anything or do anything when they're next to each other. And there's just too much pink. And like, you can do a whole pink outfit, but like, there's no value contrast. There's no brightness contrast. Or very little. There's like a little bit of desaturated pink and a very little bit of light pink and dark pink. And I'm like, you can go way more if you're going to have your outfit be 90% pink. Like, you need to start using light pinks, dark pinks, and start, you know, grouping. And she has none of that, and I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Get it off my
It's
screen.
so bad. All right. Well, speaking of confusing goth and punk, ready for the punk child skin?
Okay. The pose. That's sorry, that got to me. It's like the anime character. Okay, this is cool though. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a palate cleanser after that nightmare.
Yeah, I saved this for after the Y2K one deliberately.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Okay, let's see what they did, because this one actually feels very more square in her design motif compared to like what we've looked at previously, and it's really fun. Because I'm definitely, the sword's like the biggest example of that, because that thing is practically rectangular. Very straight lines, very rigid, even in the hilt. But what I also like is it feels like it's in the boots too. Like you see like a bunch of rectangles on that fabric decal.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the skirt is a bunch of rectangles. Even the collar, when it splits, I know they're kind of cut off like a triangle, but they also feel very square.
Mm-hmm.
The whole boob window, and even the sleeve that they gave her is a bunch of squares and rectangles. I like that they're also like, they're doing this fun thing of playing with the color gradients, because they do like purple collar, then dark jacket, and then the jacket and fades down into the purple dress. So you get contrast on the collar by doing that kind of checkerboarding where you have like color, not color, color. It's really nice. They bring a bit of that color into the boots, but not a lot, just enough to tie it with the rest of the outfit, because there's like a little triangle down there. The sword is a big punch of color, and I like that because it's a good contrast with her outfit, which is a little more subtle. They're both very colorful, but I like that it's really big chunk of color, and then they cut off like a little black piece. Which is kind of how some artists actually will plan a color scheme, is they'll put blocks of color next to what they intend to do. So they'll be like, okay, most of this outfit should be like this color, a little bit of this should be a part of the outfit, and they're kind of like making ratios. So they'll be like, you know, 1/6 is going to be this color, and 4/6 and be this color, and then you end up with like another 1/6. More or less, it's all visual, but that's why if you do see a palette that way where it's done in bars, that's the reasoning, is that they're like, okay, most of this is going to be purple and black, and then some skin tone, which in this case, you notice that it's not as red as her other skin tones.
Yeah, very pale.
Yeah, so like this is what they should have done on the Galactica skin, is make her skin tone less red and ruddy. Pull it more yellow and blue. Oh, I love the hair. Even the hair is squared up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in this fun like double ponytail thing. And I like that they also make it higher too, because it kind of fits with her whole crown. Doesn't her crown feel very Galactica shaped too?
Yes.
And even the pauldrons, in this case they are symmetrical, but they have more of a squared off angle. Because if the other ones are like, they're all round and in different directions, but in this one it's like, like they measured it with a tool or something. Oh, the spine detail is cool.
Yep.
It's bad it's covered mostly by the hair. But the other thing I noticed is, I saw these online, but she has one of those like jewelry things on her jaw that go around the jaw.
Mm-hmm.
And then even little spikes on her ears. The only actually warm spot is her lipstick, which is fine because it's her face, so we can, even the crown is pointing to the face, and then like the lines on the neck are leading up. A lot of the other parts of the dress are leading up. That's kind of cool that I didn't realize the crown, especially with her hair being so long in this version, actually pretty much make this nice V shape with her face. And then the asymmetry here, though, since they don't really have it in the pauldrons as much this time, there's a little bit in the leg gear. So she has like a chain on one side and a tattoo on one leg and a very short stocking, and the other side is a longer stocking and a kind of belt garter.
Mm-hmm. Which is not nearly as spiked as the Phoenix one.
I think too, like the way she stands, she like has her weight more on one leg when she's not holding her sword this way. So you'll see like one leg is like popping that hip up and the other leg is more relaxed. And then she has kind of little biker punk gloves. Is her other glove longer on the bare hand? Oh, she has more of like a big floaty spiky bracelet. Turn it around to the other side.
Whoops.
There we go. I was trying to see her glove. So in that one they closed the holes and they added like silver accents, and the other one it's an opened backed glove.
Oh, yeah.
But that's really fun to play with her design that way, because the other designs it's like the top middle is the asymmetry, where in this one it's kind of like her extremities have more of the asymmetry that have been kind of key part of her design. But I do think it's really cool they haven't abandoned it in any of her designs. They pretty much kept it the whole way through as like a core component of a Magik design has to have some asymmetry, which is not true of all the other heroes. There's a lot of other heroes where they only bring in asymmetry when it's like, they're, bonded with a symbiote or they're evil.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like hers, it's like always has to be part of her motif. I do like the shapes that her outfit is making in the front. If you look, like all the silver accents, there's like kind of this tight leather kind of corset almost looking shape. And then it's actually lined on the edges too, so that those lines create volume.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has kind of these big belts on the sides of her dress too, which create kind of a tabard look, but then the sides kind of make this flare out skirt. So it's not like the piece is a skirt, it's got like a piece in the front and the back, and then the sides are like these kind of almost armor-like leather flares that you see on some older styles of armor.
The belts are coming out of her corset.
Yeah, so it's like they're all connected to each other, but they're also like separate pieces. It's very cool. This would be a fun outfit to cosplay, I think. I hope someone does.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's my question for you. Is this goth or is this punk?
This is cyberpunk. Because they're kind of hitting some of the cyberpunk kind of notes on this one. Because goth is more like old school original version of goth is more with the occult and kind of like dark fantasies kind of things. Whereas this has, especially with the metal and the way some of those trimmings and things are done, feels like it's kind of cybernetic. Especially with the color too. You have these bright pops of color. You ever seen like cyberpunk stuff too? They actually really like to do the double braids, and they'll usually do like a they'll do like stuff with neon, especially the spine thing on the back. That really says cyberpunk because it's like this metal. So kind of imagine goth if you added metal and technology to it, and then you get like a more of a punk cyberpunk.
Gotcha.
Okay. And you know they're all feed in and out of each other, and there's different like versions because like there's revivals too. So you know like OG goth is gonna be different than like goth right now because the trends change and what people want to wear changes.
Mm-hmm.
So you know like Morticia was like the original goth, and she was just like big 80s hair and dark dress and light makeup, and and then that evolved to you had to have the eyeshadow and the punk kind of bled into that, and so you had like the spiked bracelets and some of the other goth trimmings. But it's just cool. It's just, and so obviously she has a little bit of all because she's got her punk motif from her OG outfit. It also has a little bit of kind of the more of the K-pop or J-pop kind of style too, because they're the ones who wear like. They do the most intense photo shoots ever. Like, I need to get into it more because the artistry in the photo shoots is so beautiful because they pick a motif and they go hard. So, like, they do all the jewelry and, like, all the props and all the environment. And it's just, like, we're slacking over here in the States. I'm sorry. We're just send thoughts and prayers for our aesthetics because it's just... I saw someone was posting some photo shoots, and I'm just like, I wish I could have photos like that, but I don't have that kind of money. But it's very cool stuff. And I think they're supporting that with the backdrop on this model too, because you have city and the blues and purples, and then all this strapped down musical equipment, and you can tell the guitar is like a very alternative rock punk type guitar, with the way the decals are on it. But yeah, this is a very nice outfit. I know I'm probably saying that as relief from the last one, but but it is generally really nice. And I this is what I love to do as an artist too, to get more variety on my color. So like the base is kind of like this purple gray, but there's portions like on the upper part of her collar and like the more forward facing parts of her dress where they're putting in more blue. So they're taking the neighbor on the color wheel and they're just using that to pop the colors forward in spots and give it a little more variety. Because I don't think they're changing the saturation or value very much, but they are changing the hue. They're just like going one way or the other. But they're definitely not doing a lot of red. I think like the most red I see is maybe this like purple tint in her white hair. Because that purple is kind of like that brighter violet, but...
And her lipstick, of course.
And her lipstick, yeah. Her lipstick is definitely very red, and it is a pinky purple red. Not like it's all the way to purple, but when you get that kind of pinkish red, it means it's kind of coming away from orange, which is still closer to the blue color family than if it was like a orange red. It'd probably really not mesh. And like I said earlier, like the skin tone is been toned down, so there's not the red in it either. So this is nice. I can't wait to see what they did with her demon form because it's already purple.
Ready?
Okay. Sweet. Did you see how her hair animated upwards when you switched over first? Well, like, zoom. That's probably from her, like, I wanted to see the demon form do that crazy pose from the intro where she's like, hurrah, and, does that, like, lean back thing. There has to be a name for that pose. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Where they're, like, stance, back, and then the arms out.
There it is.
Almost, but, like, it needs to be more extreme. It's like the anime version of that. I like the outfit here. It's kind of cool though, and they've really kind of slimmed up the lines of her profile, so like the pauldrons are pointing up, so it's almost like the whole character is stretched upward too, as far as the way the visual motion looks. I want to look at the Talbert a minute because I know she's moving around and all. So you can zoom out a little. Because you can see, like, compared to her other Talberts, it's much bigger. And it's, like, mimicking the arrows from the bottom portion to the kind of parts of the dress that are over her chest. Can you kind of see that? It's like a repeating element there.
Yep.
And even, like, the big pieces on her thighs are kind of mimicking that upward motion, too. Like, they are positioned in a way that even though they're around her thigh, when you look from the front, it's almost pointing upward.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she has little armor pieces that are, like, really dark gray on her there. So they're just kind of there for texture.
On her feet, yeah.
Yeah, on her feet. Yeah, right. Well, let's go ahead and zoom in now, because I just wanted to show that as a big picture, because you can't see it as well when you're zoomed in. The chain's on the same side as her human version.
Mm-hmm.
Also an interesting idea, because they did the hair in the human version to hide her eyes. And they didn't want to change her hair, it seems like, in this version, so they did a mask instead. Which is kind of fun idea. It makes her seem very, like, inscrutable, right? Can't see what she's thinking.
Whoops.
She also has the cool spine armor, but now it's even, like, more exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
And it even goes into the tail, which I realize, like, now the tail actually curls upside down a little. Oh, she moves. So her tail curled around so that the parts of the spikes are upside down here in a minute. That's kind of fun. Which is okay, because, like, her tail's very prehensile. So it can, like, twist around like a real animal's tail would probably do. And there's a little bit of a glow in the base where the tail connects to the waist. Which kind of makes this nice separation, so you know it doesn't come one shape and you're not sure where one begins and where one ends. Which you can do if you wanted to, but I think for a superhero character where, like, the torso and the hips and everything are usually more exaggerated because you're trying to exaggerate the physicality of the character, I think that's a better choice for a superhero character where you want to show, like, what part of the body is where and where it's moving. Because that's kind of the whole spandex aesthetic, is, like, they're really trying to accentuate the physicality, which goes all the way back to, like, the inspiration, which was, like, circus leotards. Because they would see these people doing these amazing, you know, trapeze and physical, you know, tricks and things that are, you know, seemed superhuman. So it seemed like a good idea to take that motif and apply it to a superhero character. Mm-hmm. And here we are, so many decades later. I like the treatment too of, like, I think she's really slimmed down in this one. Like, at least her arm on this side feels much thinner, but I think they've kept her in armor so much. I'm not sure what her actual physique is. But I think even in the waist and the thighs, she looks, like, gaunt.
Yeah.
And thin. Which I think is a fun way to play with that more kind of gothic punk aesthetic that they had with her. Because gothic is, you know, like, kind of like doom and gloom and, like, the darker sides. So having her a bit more emancipated, and even in her cheeks are sunken in, you know, as, like, this kind of deathly character is a great way to sell that story. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, we want to go for, like, a gothic death-like theme. Let's make her look like she's, you know, suffering. Oh man, what else is going on in this outfit? I do like that the little pieces on the side of the rib cages are big and have a lot of volume, because I feel like with everything else being much simpler and smoothed down, it creates a lot of interest and volume there. There's a lot of texture too, and, like, accents, like the chain and the buckles and the little spikies.
Mm-hmm.
Then she's got... The horns are really razor thin too. Like, they even thinned up the horns. They're almost...
It's because they're not horns. They're blades of metal.
Yeah, they're like blades. I wasn't sure if they were, like, her actual horns or part of her thing. I mean, it kind of... I don't know if it was up to interpretation, but I guess they do look like they're part of that mask. Oh... It's kind of interesting seeing more of her skin, because I'm noticing she has, like, these little, like, knobs on her thighs from scales.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of hue changes compared to her base outfit either, though. Like, there's really bright value in the middle. It's just a lighter version of the darker purple. But I don't see a bright purple in her skin tone like they typically did. Maybe it's a little bit more saturated in her face, but not by a whole lot. I don't know. Let's zoom her out and give her one more spin. So I was gonna look at the sword too. Ooh, the sword is kind of like also the same. It's still big and blocky, but they're still having that kind of upward movement, and it's got a guitar shape on the hilt. I just realized it's got the little knobs that would be for tuning your guitar. That's cool. This sword has a lot more complexity too, because there's more texture. There's like this kind of notch taken out of it, which almost looks like a chip rather than a design motif, you know? It still has a kind of animal face in it, but you know, instead of being squared off, it's like everything's been tilted up at a slight angle. And there is kind of a arrow design too, because they broke up the symmetry on that. And it's the opposite of the hilt where the tuning knobs are at. So the tuning knobs are on one side, and then they broke up the symmetry on the opposite side and made that kind of triangle below the face. Whereas everything else is pretty much squarely symmetrical. So it's like knobs, triangle pointed straight to the little chip, and then everything else is pretty symmetrical except for where they cut the black to purple. But having all that asymmetry on the same side just feels like it puts more weight on that side too. So that, and since that's the side facing towards the ground, it just makes the sword feel heavier. And then I think it's just nicely balanced by having the tuning knobs on the other side. Because clearly, even as a demon, she's supposed to be holding like an enormous, heavy sword. I do like the spine thing repeated through the tail too. It's a little covered now at this angle, so give her a little more spin. Because they do it for a while and then they quit. And then the tip of her tail is kind of this cybernetic glowing blade. It almost looks like it should be a weapon itself.
Very xenomorph.
Yeah, which is probably going for like the darker vibes on this character design. She actually has stockings actually on this one, so she doesn't have fuzz. I just realized. They cut the fuzz. She's not cute anymore. Because this is supposed to be like a more gothic, cybernetic, punky version. But I really am in love with this kind of... They took all that design, but they just keep having this upward movement in the hair and the pauldrons and the thinner everything, like the thinner horns, the thinner body. So she has like this really kind of like visual movement of everything going upward, which I really like. It kind of gives her like a feel of like there's an energy about her that is pushing her up. So like even though her body and everything is frail, it feels like she is like emitting her own force almost that pushes like her whole outfit, her hair, her everything upward. Also, I think the little tail coats are fancy. I like them. I don't know if those fit the motif or not, but they just look nice. A+. Even over here on the wrist, there's like a double silver gauntlet to make that sleeve bigger. And then it's like a big bracelet on the other hand. There's actually a hole in the stocking on the open hand too. You turn where you can't see it. Look at the hand with the bracelet. And you gotta be at the right angle. See it? There's a hole above the bracelet.
Oh, on the hand. I was like, the stocking. What? And I was looking at her legs.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the stocking on her hand. There's like a hole ripped through it.
Yeah.
But again, like this is like a kind of a slimmer, messier, gothicer. That's an official word. I made it up. You can use it. But I like this one a lot. It's very cool. And I think the color choices are really good. Like all the cyan is pretty much in the top of the outfit. There's like a big, you know, center line like some of the other outfits used with the cyan. Goes straight up. And then there's a little bit of cyan on the hair. And yeah, it's like just a really bright, a lot of bright values right in the center. I like this one quite a lot. It's good.
I figured you would. All right.
Are there others?
Nope, that's all her costumes. So now it's MVP time.
Okay. Oh, cool.
This is her default.
Can we look at it with the default costume?
That's a fair point.
Boom. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, that one's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the default ones are a little weak on the animation in some of the characters, but this feels cool. It's like she zooms out of a portal, and then this kind of like punchiness on the kind of end pose is really good.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a quick. No, we'll do the winter one at the end. How about celestial armor?
Okay. Oh, nice framing on that. Oh, kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the lower camera angle. I do wish it had a little bit more speed to it. Like, I think they could have, like, messed with the timings a bit to make it a little bit more punchy, but it's nice.
All right. Phoenix.
Ooh.
This one's just a smidge horny.
Just a smidge? Something about, like, a metric ton of butt cheek? I will say, though, that this is doing the animation I was just hoping the other one would have, actually, because it feels punchy. I mean, besides the camera angle. Like, she actually just legit picks up the camera and is like, hey, my eyes are up here. Like, watch. She legitimately does. Because she's like, rah! Hey, you. I'm up here. She picks you up. That's terrible. But the beginning of the animation where it's like, this is fast. This has a lot of movement, you pause, and this has a lot of, like, I love the camera shake. I think I would like that punchiness on the other one, but I like this one.
All right, up next, the bad one.
The bad one. I was hoping maybe it'd give me more idea of what the hell the theme was on this one.
Nope.
Even the person doing, like, the end animation is like, I ain't drawing those ugly legs. Because, like, the music kind of says magical girl. And, like, there was one, it reminds me of Blingy, but I can't remember what the aesthetic is called. It was about, like, the chrome and the phones and stuff, and there's a name for it that would fit, like, the background motif of this with the kind of stickers and things. But her character design doesn't fit that aesthetic because she's not wearing a cohesive fashion, and that aesthetic would have, because it was more concerned with, like, what rich people were wearing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like mixed brand plus celebrity, and you would have had that aesthetic. But this doesn't do that either.
Yeah. All right, and Punk Child.
At least it didn't show the demon version. They had far too much fun with this one. Whoever did this, I swear, had their dream job. Because it reminds me a bit like Baby Metal.
Oh yeah, yep. Definitely reminds me of Baby Metal.
Like this one, they were given the assignment and they nailed it, and the other person they were given the assignment and they were just confused about what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's exactly what happened, because that's what it feels like happened, honestly. This one even has music.
Yep.
And, like, the warning and stuff is, like, all the kind of cyberpunk glitchy, you know, warning, warning, ah, demon, ah, you know, and the glitchy camera feed, the kind of dark. And, like, cyberpunk likes to explore kind of this darker element of technology. So, you know, the fact that she's being filmed from, like, a security camera is really on point. I also really like the treatment of the animation. I mean, it's a little unfair because this one gets the background and all this stuff, but I love the demon transformation having, like, all this graphic design, like, explosion.
Mm-hmm.
The way that's, like, a hand-animated graphic design explosion. And there's a lot of it going along as smaller special effects in this shot, too. Where it's, like, where she sits on the couch and, like, these flashes of more transparent. I also realized she turns into a demon and she's destroying the evidence because she was on camera turning into a demon. It's like, you didn't see that! Crunch! Yeah. That one's very cool. And I like this aesthetic anyway. And I'm not saying I hate the other one because I don't like the aesthetic. I think we both agree that that one was really bad.
Yeah.
But, like... I wanted them to do, like, my idea, like, the Tamagotchi thing. Or even if they didn't, like, do, like, phone charms and charm bracelets in, like Lisa Frank something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or the trick to Lisa Frank is you can use all the colors except for red. Anything that is red needs to be pink.
Oh, I forgot to show you the alternate colors for this costume.
Oh, we can still do that.
Yeah, we'll do that in a sec. We might as well finish off the MVPs with the Frozen Demon MVP.
Is this recording audio, though? Is it recording audio?
Not when I'm transferred to the scene I'm on right now.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know. I don't know how this stuff works. I just draw the pictures. Oh yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And the end illustration is nice. Do you have like a... What is on the end of the sword?
I have no idea.
Because I wanted to say it looked almost like a color strap, but it doesn't look like a carabiner. It's just like too long.
Yeah.
Because I kind of was thinking maybe climbing equipment or something. Maybe it's the drawstring pole to start the chainsaw pole. Is she? I want to see her go again. Is the thing on when she's... Yes, it is.
Yes, yep.
I had to know.
Yep.
The chainsaw sword is on. I think her and her punk version should hang out together. It'll be like Magik verse.
Alright, let's check out the alt colors for this one. Well, first, which one's your favorite MVP, as if I don't know?
As if you don't know.
As if I don't know? This one?
This one?
Yep.
It is legitimately the coolest one. No matter what you like. It's just well animated. The backgrounds are cool. If I had to go without, like, going by production value, like some of them don't have backgrounds and whatnot, I would probably go the Phoenix and then, the default, honestly. I think they're both pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's see the alt colors for Punk Child. There's only one. Are you ready for... Hatsune Miku!
It pretty much is, but my gosh, it's a really cool alternate color, actually.
Watermelon.
Well, because usually the alternate colors, they try to go a little too conservative. They're like, let's go all in on this color, and then they're like, I don't know, blue? And, or like, I don't know, all red? And they're confused, like another color, but this has character to it, and it's still really well balanced because the color zones are pretty much all in the same places. It gives a lot of punchiness to the dress.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of would be nice too, if you're not really into the dark gothic aesthetic, but you still really like this costume, you get a chance to do something that's a little more kawaii colored, happy, a little, brighter. I also really like that they did this kind of minty green and then they fade it to cyan.
Mm-hmm.
That's just really pretty. And a really great use of using gradient in this outfit. And I think the pinks, they're doing a pretty similar thing. They're using, I think there's some darker colors on the inside of the torso. Am I right? Yeah.
Yep.
So they have some, and it's really dark compared to how bright the pink. You wouldn't even think it was there if you weren't looking for it. But then there's there's this kind of nice, it's like coral pink, especially in the collar, and then they're letting it fade out to this nice bright pink that's not too pale to be saturated, but gives that variety of the other outfit of it getting lighter towards the bottom. And I think even the grays are toned up. They're not dark, they're all lighter gray, but they're still dark, but they're not black like the other outfit was.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's not as harsh of a contrast. So that gives that, the brighter colors some room to be bright and not actually be the contrast, but just be themselves, essentially. Is there a skin tone also brightened up from what it was for the other outfit, or is that just me? It might just be a color association, but it's really close. Because I feel like it's more pink, but it could just be the fact that it's covered with red and pink next to it.
It's got brighter stuff next to it now, yeah.
And then we have the demon form. Oh, fun. It is kind of funny to put this like brighter pink fun outfit on the gothic skinny model. I feel like if it was me though, I would have toned the skin a little warmer though. To go with all this red. That way like the teal pink minty, or not pink, teal pink, my goodness. The minty greens could have stood up on more on the skin tone. Because they would have been a little more contrast with like a warmer, like a pink. But that might just be me. They have pink on the horns though. And her lipstick is lighter. And there's actually some, now there's some color on the boots too that wasn't there before. It is kind of like a watermelon more so on this one, I think.
Yep.
It's really fun though. I do like this color choice. So we have like coral pink is going to be kind of like a red violet range, and then that kind of minty would be kind of like a blue green. So I'm trying to think of like where those are out in the color wheel, but I think they might be complements. Yeah, it's nice. And then of course like the skin tone is so desaturated, it's not really going to like fight with all those brighter colors. If anything, you're like purple already has red in it. And blue, so it's just going to be just fine with those colors as far as color harmony. Yeah, I like those alternates. They're very different. I think I'd pick the original, but I think if that was like the kind of colors you liked, that'd be a really fun alternate.
All right. Now I'm going to ask you to call out 3 favorites. Which is your favorite human design?
3?
Well, I'm gonna ask you human, demon, and package.
Okay.
So which is your favorite human design?
Let's look at. Oh gosh. So I was thinking, let's just start with default and start. I want to look at the default, and then I want to look at the X-Men and the Phoenix. And then back to the Punk Turmoil, Punk Child. Of course, she's gonna do her animation because she's special. I'm trying to remember which anime character inspired that pose, though. It was like a whole thing. Can't remember if it's a JoJo or something else. Someone will correct me on it. Somebody out there knows. Oh man. Because this is kind of a really tough choice after going through all of these. Because I do like, obviously I like this one a lot. Just because I think it's a really fun theme and they did well. But I think the Phoenix one actually has a really great center motif as far as, I really like the red on the dress. And I really, really love the way they did the outside of the silhouette with like complex versus simple. I think that's actually very cool. But then we have like the X-Men one.
Which is just perfection.
Yeah, and it's like, gosh, how do you even choose when they're all so well designed? And it's just really just down to a difference of aesthetics, you know? I'm going to choke here again because I want to see what her sword looks like. I keep forgetting she has this cutscene. We deserve to watch it 5 times. It's fine. Oh yeah, she had the square sword. I was trying to remember. I know I talked about it so much, but you know, short-term memory loss. And then we'll go back to here. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Phoenix if I'm going by gut. Just because the spiky armor on this one and the fact that like they really were playing with silhouette and the design itself is just really cool on this one. And I feel like even so, like the leading lines and the way they did address the form with the front of the outfit too, because like the collar like complements the front of the outfit. I think this is just really well designed overall. And so even though I think these are 3 that I had to really look at and think really hard on, I think I'm going to pick this one for best design. favorite.
For a human?
For human.
Yeah. Okay. Now, which one's your favorite demon form?
I'm trying to think what the ones were here. Man, I forgot how good the base one is. Actually. It is really good. Like, I even just really like the colors. Let's see.
Clearly, it's this one.
No, get out of here. Go to the Ice Knight Queen. Oh, they call it Eldritch? And then, let's check on Phoenix. I don't think it's going to be in my top, but I just wanted to refresh. And then... yeah, let's look one more at the Punk Child and then the X-Men after this one. Best animation ever! Actually, they do a lot of that hand-drawn animation through her intro animation, too. Because what I really like...
hang on, I'm going to test something. Oh, I can just go straight... I can skip it because she's got multiple forms.
But we deserve to watch that 10 billion times. Give her a spin. And then let's go to the X-Men one. And then give them a spin. You know, I think I have to give this one the best demon design only because if I had saw this in a cartoon, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely flabbergasted anytime this thing would have showed up on screen. You know, it's just like... and it's just so nice, too. Like, how do you turn a demon to look like a super heroic, powerful, you know, X-Men colored knight? And, like, this is how. It was kind of tough, though, because I really do like her base design, if we go back to it. Because this is... I really like the play of the orange and reds in this base design. And I probably could have picked this as the best one, but... I mean, I think for me it's just like the armor is a little overcomplicated in some spots compared to some of the other outfits I've seen after this one.
Yeah.
That I kind of like the less complicated metal armor on some of the other ones. So I think that's why I'm kind of going towards the X-Men one over her base. I don't know, it sounds like I don't love Punk Child, but we'll get to that. So yeah, go back to the X-Men one. Let's just give them a round of applause because that just looks sick as hell. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Literally.
Literally, yeah.
Alright, and now for package deal.
Package deal. Okay, so... I think you know. But for motif and the way they pair together and the way that the concept they're shooting for pairs with the character and its, like, demon version, I really like the Punk Child one. And there's been a lot of great plays between her human version and her demon version too. But even if I ignore how great the animation work on her like intro and her MVPs are, like this kind of character looks kind of like a gothic singer rock star, you know, from your favorite punk rock metal band.
Yeah.
And then her demon form looks like the demon they'd put in one of their music videos that's gothic as hell, emancipated, going to eat you. Not because you deserve it, but because they're here and they can, you know?
Yeah.
And just the xenomorph cybernetic tail thing going with this whole motif. And the way the design is accented, because like the sword on this one is so well accented with the sword in her human version. Because I like that it's a guitar, it has really nice asymmetry, and the adding curves when you go back to her human version of the sword, like it's got some of the same motifs, but it's much more rigid. And I like this play of like this kind of like cool beauty, rigid, you know, performance with this kind of wild demon. You know, the curves add that flexibility in the visual design. And so I just like that they play together really well. As far as like, and some of the other designs play together pretty well too. Like the Phoenix had some nice stuff going for it. But I do think that the play of the design on this character between the two forms are really, really well done. And the worst design award goes to... Because these two designs don't even play well together at all. Mm-hmm. They're not even in the same ballpark, actually. Because this is like, again, this is like kind of that bling 2000s era. The other one is not even 2000 era bling. It's just bad.
Well, here's the question of the day. Is this better or worse than Pink Tie and Shit Symbiote?
This, oh my gosh. This is the Pink Tie with no redeeming qualities. They plucked the pink tie and then a demon got a hold of it and tried to wear it and it looked like this.
So worse than Pink Tie? Is it worse than Iron Man's Shit Symbiote?
It is worse than that, because at least the Shit Symbiote, if they would just change the color scheme, they could salvage that. I could not think of a way to salvage this because the design itself is so ugly. And not even in a fun, they're on ugly on purpose way. Like, you can do that, right? Mm-hmm. Because you could do, like, the mascot giant head or whatever. But, like, it doesn't pick a theme or a lane or anything. It's just spaghetti thrown at a wall, and then pink got puked up all over it. And
so would you go on record as saying this is your least favorite skin in the game?
I think this is so far my least favorite skin.
Vindicated.
And like, I think this skin is maybe salvageable from like the waist up, but the lingerie buckle tights are not it. They should have just put her in regular tights. That would have looked cute. And what if
you know what regular tights look like on her? Great.
Yeah, and this kind of has like the same kind of like belt cutoff thing, but it completes the silhouette of her shorts. Whereas this one does nothing. It just straight up looks like she's naked. Mm-hmm. It's so bad. Why is it still here, Will?
All right, well, that's Magik.
You can't end on that. Jeez. Thank you. That's awful. Let's end on that one. That one's a nice outfit.
That's Magik. Up next will be Magneto.
Ooh, and it looks like they went with Old Man Magneto.
Yep.
Nice.
Magneto's got some really cool skins. And there's one in particular that, like, I'm probably going to get on principle, even though I don't play the character much, just because it's so cool, and I respect the devs for having the balls to do it. Like, you know, once I have money to spare, I'll get it. I'm not going to spend money I don't have. But, yeah, no, Magneto's got some cool ass skins, and I look forward to showing you.
Nice.
But for now, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And we will see you next time.
Bye.